your life.
This is row 1, seat 1.
Well, this is nice. When did we start doing this? Nobody told me about this. I thought everything sucked now. Do you have a card?
You shake my bones and you rat on my balls.
I'm going to, okay? Jada, I love him. Can't wait to see it. All right?
Luck is for dudes.
I'm like, Joey can't get to his damn computer and phone fast enough to just smash everything he can possibly say.
That means every fucking thing to me.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, what a glorious Tuesday evening it is to be live on the air with you on the one, the only, the New Bedford Guide, as well as row1seat1.com.
Yeah.
Which really isn't a thing right now, but it's okay. It will be. Joey Fats Radio, row 1, seat 1. Thank you all for joining us. We are absolutely ecstatic to be here. We have so much to get to tonight. So many things. Just so many things. We've got...
Took long enough.
Do we have? I mean, look, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, right? Like, nope. I mean, I thought about just like skipping over it and being like, you know what? Fuck that game. I didn't even watch it. It didn't happen. It really doesn't matter to me. Fuck the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Can I be honest? And maybe it's because I'm older. Maybe because I had like a rough few weeks. But did it not seem like that game was like as nationally pumped as usual?
Yeah, that's what I said. There was a lack of.
And during the game, there was just like no energy. It was like meh. Like
Yeah.
it was no defense.
Well,
but everyone was just like meh.
We'll get to that because
Right.
I have a theory on why the game had that kind of flat feel to it. We'll get to that. We'll get to the flat feeling of the game. We'll get to the halftime show. We'll get to the reaction to the halftime show, which was very predictable. We'll get to the call heard round the world, the hold heard round the world.
The hurl.
We'll get to, obviously, the other things not concerning the Super Bowl, but still NFL related. The Colts and Cardinals get their man at head coach. Derek Carr absolutely butt-fucks the Raiders.
Well, they tried to butt-fuck him.
After they tried to butt-fuck him.
Amazing.
We'll get into all of that. We got that plus, what do we got? We got a little bit of NBA tonight. We got a little bit of... what else did I have here listed? Oh, we got a Daytona 500 betting preview. Since sports betting is legal now in the state of Massachusetts, I'm going to give you, if you are a degenerate and you like to bet, I'm going to give you some tips on how to bet on NASCAR. Now, I'm not a good bettor. I will preface it with that. However, we will talk about betting here in the second hour. Obviously, Terry Bradshaw is in some hot water for some insensitive comments that he made. Oh, my goodness. Goodness gracious. Obviously, in the poll question tonight, and you can vote on it right here on the side in the description. Biggest no-show in Super Bowl history. And I'm going to give you 3 options. One is going to be this year's Philadelphia Eagles defense. Option B will be the 2013 Denver Broncos offense. And number 3 will be other. And you can submit your comments as to what the other might possibly be.
Right.
Whether it was the 1994 San Diego Superchargers.
That's messed up. They had Dan Fouts. He was amazing.
Maybe it was the 1989 Denver Broncos or the 1987 Denver Broncos or the 1986 Denver Broncos. I could put a lot of Broncos as no shows in this category.
1986 Patriots.
85, but yes, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
No, feel free to take it from here, guys.
I thought you were looking for something else, you dick.
Converse amongst yourselves. What did you guys? What did you guys eat during the big game? What did you have to eat? Because I know Paul and I, we had a plethora of smoked barbecue meats.
I ate absolutely nothing.
We did ribs. Ribs were bomb as fuck too.
Ribs?
The ribs, yeah, they were good.
I ate absolutely nothing.
Ribs.
And on top of it, to get back to Joey's point, who I thought was going to say something else, and he started typing. He was like, "Feel free to talk,
Yeah,
gentlemen."
I know. Like immediately, like we're just like.
It was 2 seconds, and we're like
know.
waiting for him to say something else. He's like,
Right.
he's like, "Speak." I'm like, okay, listen. First of all, my vote for biggest missing piece of all time I'm not gonna vote the Eagles game. Like the Eagles just sucked dick the whole game. Like the defense was terrible. Plus, I don't know if anybody saw Fletcher Cox screaming at the rest of his team on the sideline. Like, God damn it, this guy has one ankle and he's beating the shit out of us.
I know,
and
right?
the team was like, "Yep." Like,
I
they're
wonder,
like, yeah.
what was up with the field? They were like pushing a lot of dirt around.
Okay, so I
That
don't know.
field
I
was
don't know if you
breaking
know
up
this.
hard.
I don't know if you know this. Getting ready for that game, the NFL paid $800,000 to prep that field. $800,000.
They were better off on like a fucking private high school team's field. Like,
Well, the cool thing about the Arizona field is that whole field actually gets like
rolled out.
out
Yeah, I get
into
that.
the sun of
like,
Arizona.
Dudes
and
were
then they were
slipping and moving dirt, like losing grip all over the place.
Greg Olson made a great point. Greg Olson, by the way, called a great game, gave the referee shit on national television, and then after the game was announced that he was going to be served a 70% pay cut for next season.
Yeah,
That
'cause
sucks.
Tom Brady's coming in.
Yeah, but even Tom Brady's said he's not going to start next year. He's going to start 2 years from now, whatever it is.
Right,
He's going to take a year to prep, which I was like, he's probably never going to
Yeah,
take
they're
that
just trying
contract.
to
Who
save
gives
up
a
the
shit?
money. They're gonna save up the money to pay Brady.
So you screw him now?
Yep.
But
They gotta get moving on that.
Greg Olson said way too much like paint on the field, like the core is too big, and that makes the grass a little bit slipperier. And then he said, and if everybody saw it after they moved the halftime show shit stage, there was huge chunks of dirt taken out of the field and huge chunks of grass taken out of the field, and they have multiple members just sodding and throwing down like extra patches of like grass and
It's
place.
terrible.
I mean, that was just a disaster.
Right. I'm not even like blaming that as far as like who won or lost. They both had to play on the team. Like they both teams had to play on that field. But I'm just saying, like, damn, like, get your shit together. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking at the Super Bowl, man. Like, there are fields out there that are in better shape. You know what I mean? That are not on that level. Like,
So
I was just kind of pissed off at the way.
no, you're 100%
I
right,
think
and you're
it
not the only
goes-
person.
Well, I think it kind of like also goes in line with like the lack of like you said like hype towards this game.
I think nationally, it was a Middle America team versus a Pennsylvania team, and it was just the whole West Coast feels like didn't care. All of the South United States did not care, and the East Coast is like, meh. You know, the Chiefs have been like our rival forever. Well, for the last like 5 years, and then Philadelphia fucked us in the Super Bowl by beating us a few years ago. So it's
Anybody
like
who
we didn't really
lives-
care.
Yeah, anybody who lives up in this region of the United States, we are saturated with teams. You know what I mean? We have a lot.
For
We
sure.
have the Ravens, the Steelers. You know, I'm saying from like Ohio down to like, you know, I don't know, maybe whatever, Georgia. We'll go down like that, this half up here. And like, there's so many teams that like, this is just two of like the like sexy teams. Like, it just kind of sucked when I thought about it. I'm like, ew, the Chiefs and the Eagles. I'm like,
Someone brought
this fucking sucks.
Someone brought up a great point. They said if you don't have a West Coast versus East Coast game, now I know the ratings were still high because it's Super Bowl. Everyone watched Super Bowl
Right,
still.
right.
But the hype's not there. And they said if you don't have a West Coast team versus an East Coast team, there's not as much hype because the West Coast people are very casual if their teams are not in it. They're like, well, whatever, we're not going to watch it. If it's on, it's on. If it's not, it's not.
Right. It's one of those things. It's like it's background for them.
Basically.
Yeah, they're like
so all of
Kansas City,
California,
Philly. They're like,
yeah, exactly. All of California is like the
I mean,
closest team to us is 3,000 miles
you'll
away.
You'll get the people that'll tune in to root against certain teams, like
Right.
you know. But like,
I tuned in to
do you
root
think
against the
do you think
Chiefs.
Rams fans or you know, I don't know, let's say Chargers fans really give a shit about like, you know, maybe the Chargers fans are tuning in to root against the Chiefs, but like what, there's like 14 of them in the whole country, so like who gives a shit?
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't move the needle. You know, the Rams fans, they couldn't care less. Like, oh, we're not in it. It's the same thing with like the Lakers. Like, yeah, oh, the Lakers aren't in it. No one cares.
The Rams,
Oh, the Clippers are in it. That's cute. Yeah, they're not the Lakers.
Yeah,
Bye.
whatever. Yep.
the
So-
Rams won the Super Bowl last year, and by the end of this season, they had half the stadium already.
I'm fairly
Right.
certain that I saw, and I don't know if it's true because I haven't actually looked up the ratings and got the official thing yet. But I'm fairly certain like the Super Bowl halftime show actually was the peak viewership of the
By
whole
like
game.
5 million.
By, like,
it was like 113 to 118.
Something like
Listen,
that.
Rihanna's halftime show got 118, and the
Yeah,
whole
I'm not-
entire Super Bowl itself was 113.
I'm not a fan of Rihanna. I know she has some bangers for songs. I thought the halftime
Does
show.
she though?
Yeah, I mean,
Does she?
I mean,
I guess if you're like a 17-year-old girl in 2009, Rihanna
worse.
was like your cool, like the coolest shit ever. But
okay,
Yeah,
was that
I've
the worst
seen-
halftime
No,
show?
no, I've
Was it the
seen
best?
worse.
Absolutely not.
honestly,
No.
who was the best halftime show?
Tom Petty.
Actually, Tom Petty was pretty good.
That's my favorite.
My favorite, I have to tell you, was 2001 because of the Patriots won the Super Bowl, so it was U2.
Oh God,
Oh, I
no,
hate
Jesus
you.
Christ!
Don't care.
As if I
just
needed,
because.
I completely forgot about that. As if I needed another reason to fucking loathe that day.
Just
Joey,
because.
hey Joey, would you
Literally
rather,
the worst band in existence.
All right, say you get sentenced, like,
Yeah,
say,
you heard me right, Poolin.
say you go to hell, Joey, right? And you either got to listen for eternity, U2 or fucking Pearl Jam. Which one are you
Oh
taking?
my fucking
Which
God,
one are you
dude.
taking?
Why do
dude?
you hate Pearl Jam so much? It's so weird.
What?
They
What do you mean?
suck
What do you
so
mean? Why-
bad, dude.
Pearl Jam is
Eddie
like the
Vedder is the
worst
biggest fucking poser
Why?
of all time.
Like people rack hard on Nickelback, and I'm like,
Pearl Jam
that's
was
a weird
Nickelback
way
before
to say
Nickelback.
Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
so wait, no, honestly, what would you rather do? If you had to listen to one band for the rest of your fucking life, are you doing Pearl Jam or
Wow, Poolin's in the chat tonight too. That's great.
or U2?
Honestly, as much as it pains me to say it, I'd probably have to go with U2 because at least they have like a good song. I don't know what it is. I
was gonna
can't
say,
name it.
What do you pick?
Yeah.
But I'm sure
Elevation?
they have like a good song somewhere.
Maybe, yeah.
But Pearl Jam, I've never like. I just can't. If I have to listen to Eddie Vedder, just be like, A-I-O-U.
They all do vowels. Yeah, that was the 90s.
Honestly, if I was gonna have to choose, I'd probably have to take U2 as well.
Yeah, I'd probably to like at least like. I mean,
I don't give.
and
Pearl
both.
Jam
You know what thing that
any
pisses me off about
credit at
U2
all.
and Pearl Jam alike, and they both have this problem is like. You know, Pearl Jam, you've got Eddie Vedder. Like, all right, sick fucking rock name, dude. Like, the name is sick. Like, the lead singer's name is Eddie Vedder. You're like, oh, all right. Guy sounds pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And then you listen to him and you're like, total douchebag. Fucking terrible. Awful. And then U2 on the other side, it's like, oh, their lead guitarist, his name is Edge. And you're like, all right.
Cool.
It's like Slash, but like
Yeah.
Edge. Like, all right, this guy's going to be fucking really good, right? Like, no. Now he's gonna play like the same basic like 6 chords for every song and never fucking wow you or never be in anyone's top 100 greatest guitarists of all time ever.
Well,
and no one's ever gonna give a shit about him.
His name is Edge because people who are right about to cross over it
Yeah.
hear him and then
How
they
do you-
just commit. You know, they just go.
how do we forget last year of like Snoop, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige,
But
Dr.
that
Dre,
was
Fat 50.
that was good.
I think that was more or less like a tribute to like the area in which we're. Well, 50's not.
But, like,
It wasn't supposed to
I mean,
be.
I have a lot of problems with like I loved last year's Super Bowl halftime show because it was I mean, don't get me wrong, it was dope. Let's be honest, dude. Like
I thought it was cool.
it was Dre and Snoop and like
Yeah.
come on, man. Like that 50 like that was fucking great. That to me was probably the second best one. Tom Petty was the best in 07 with the Giants and Patriots. Then last year's. But like I had some like issues with kind of like, you know, like I don't know, like you got Snoop up there like crip walking on stage and it's like all right, like here we are like, you know, promoting gang violence again like
Right,
on
right.
national television in front of 200 million people or whatever. It's like all right, like you know, I don't know. I just like something about that kind of rubs me. I know they're performers and I know they're showmen, but like I don't know, when you work in our line of work and you see the kids that actually like emulate that and
Yeah.
like play the pot dog, like it changes your perspective on it. And I get that not everybody has the same perspective as I do because
Right.
they don't see it the way I see it. You know, they don't see
Right.
21, 22-year-old kids who come into prison and think like, I'm the fucking man because I shot another motherfucker. I put a bullet in his ass. And it's like, dude, you're literally threw your life away at 20 years old.
Right.
For what? To keep it real?
Right.
Dude,
like-
so can I just jump in really quick? Billboard
Yep.
picked by all of their staff, they voted the greatest Super Bowl halftime shows ever, including this most recent
What was number
one.
one? Prince?
Bingo.
It was either Prince or Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson wasn't even top 10.
Really?
Yeah, they did not like all the
See, I
all the
didn't like.
kid
I
touching
didn't
stuff.
really care for the Prince one.
I didn't care for the
But
Prince
I'm
either.
not a Prince fan.
Number
so-
2?
Lady Gaga.
Number 2, U2.
It was you too.
Yeah, of
All right,
course.
what you get number 1, number 2. Let's see if you can do the top 5. Number 3. If you get number 3, I'm gonna be like, you.
Give me a
fucking cheated.
hint.
We've already talked about it.
Was it Rihanna?
Nope.
Tom Petty.
Nope.
Phew.
Boom, 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 boom,
Oh,
boom,
last
yeah,
year.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, and number 4, last one. This person looks like a troll from another planet now.
Michael Jackson?
Well, he is dead, so
Yeah.
no.
Rats, forget about that. Sam Smith. I'm just throwing out names. I don't even.
I don't think he did a Super Bowl halftime show, but that would be a correct answer. It's Madonna.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Madonna did a halftime show? What Super Bowl was that?
2012. Remember when they flipped her upside down and like she was like decrepit?
Was that
Kind
was that in
of.
Mercedes? That the Superdome? Was that,
That
the Ravens Niners? Was that Ravens Niners? Was that Giants Patriots?
No, Giants Patriots was 2011.
No, I know, but I don't know if they're going based on the year it was in.
I don't
versus
know
the
what
year.
they're going with.
You know,
They're
because
not
they
fucking
always
saying
do that. They're like, oh, the 2012 Super Bowl, but it's really the 2011 season. It's, you know.
Yeah.
No, because they counted last year Dr. Dre and Friends as 2022 season, so it was the 2012 season, not 2011 season. I mean,
Oh.
yes, yeah, 2012 season.
So it was Ravens
Ravens,
Niners.
49ers.
No, I don't remember that halftime show at all.
It was garbage. It was her and Party and LMFAO.
Oh God,
Ugh.
no wonder why I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I mean, not even LMFAO could get me to watch Madonna.
Well, nobody watched it, but apparently Bill
Apparently.
Clinton did.
And not even Madonna could get me to watch LMFAO.
I mean, number one, to Graham's point, number one should have been Janet and Justin because we get to see titty. That was titty.
I don't know what that was.
It was
That
a pierced titty too. You're like, yeah, nice.
Mm.
That was sick. That was the best. That was to me. That was my favorite.
Oh yeah, Lady Gaga jumped off the roof. That was
Yep,
funny.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That was all I remember from that. Just
Did
her
you
jumping
see
off
the
roof.
the clip of Lady Gaga's concert the other day where like she's got some girl like literally gagging herself and then throwing up on her?
That was old.
Was it
That's super old. That's like 8 years ago.
really?
Yeah.
I'd never seen that until
Either
the other
way,
day,
I
and
don't
I was
care.
like,
that's fucking gross.
"What the
Yeah.
fuck is wrong with
That was
people?"
when she did that crazy like was doing anything for attention phase.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now she would never. She'd be like, "Oh, how
Right.
dare you! I'm starting a movie with Bradley Cooper."
She's like Mariah
Right.
Carey, where she won't even let
Yes.
Eminem bust on her anymore. Like, ew. It's like jerk off over there into that towel. Like, but yeah, no, I don't know. The halftime show was this year to me. It was complete and utter gutter trash. I mean,
I don't care that she's pregnant. I don't give a shit.
I don't either. Like,
That was no
obviously,
excuse for
that
her to
was the
stand in-
number one takeaway from that. And I don't care how high in the Donkey Kong level thing she goes. Like, it doesn't make for better. It was so lazy.
Yeah,
It was just purely
boring.
lazy. And aside from the fact that Rihanna has like one good song, like the only song I've ever listened to by Rihanna that I've been like, I like that song was Umbrella because it was very well produced and it was very well done. Other than that, everything else, not that she has, I'm not saying she doesn't have talent. I'm not saying she's not capable. I just think her music is fucking garbage.
No, I'm saying she has top of the charts like number one rankings and songs. That's
Yeah.
what I meant by bangers. But other than that, it's like I'm not into it
She
at
makes
all.
she makes more money off her makeup line now.
Was it Maki or some shit like that?
Fenty.
Whatever. No, Fenty's a company.
No, Fenty. F-E-N like T-I. Not
I don't know.
Fendi.
I don't know
Not
fucking
Fendi.
know.
I don't know. All I know is that Rihanna is,
I am
listen,
too white to know how this
Yeah.
point. How's
the
that?
fact that there was no surprise guest, there
She's
was
worth
no
over like
like
$1 billion, dude.
you know, there was no they never pulled anybody in to be like, oh, look at this, we got the surprise person here, and
well,
like,
don't need 'em.
maybe
They
the
figured they don't
rumor.
need 'em.
The rumor was Drake was supposed to be there, but maybe Drake burst into tears and ran away when he saw she was pregnant.
perhaps
Because he was
because she's
there.
because ASAP Rocky is her baby daddy, right? That's
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, right. 774-992-8702. That's the phone number if you want to get in on this conversation. What's your best and worst halftime show of all time?
It just the Facebook just asked me if once to ban Graham because of his last comment.
What, meat suit?
It said, "Would you like to ban this user?" It popped up right on my
Wait,
screen.
what did it say? What did he say?
He just put Sam Smith equals meat suit era Gaga, and Facebook was like, "We can't be having this."
You want to ban him? No, no, we
Immediately, do you want to ban
don't.
him?
No.
Look, it's back again.
What
Delete
is that?
comment, report comment, suspend Graham, ban Graham.
No, none. None
Of
the
course,
above.
I'm gonna hit cancel.
Yeah, cancel all that.
Yeah, we're not banning anybody. Nobody gets banned from this
That
show.
was so
No.
strange. Why it popped up twice?
Listen, we
That's
didn't ban Fortnite Kid, the kids who call in yelling like monkeys.
Oh, I love them kids.
we don't.
If you're out there listening, please call in. Please call in and act like.
Paul just
the
adores
hell?
you.
I think you got. They grabbed me the fuck.
It keeps trying to suspend him. It's like, do you want to ban him from the stream? I'm like, no. It keeps
I'm
popping
not
up.
getting anything on my side.
Maybe because I'm in like the comments.
I mean, I'm. Oh wait, moderation.
Who knows? That's so weird. It would only come
I
up
have
on
everything
yours.
set to off, so
Mine didn't come up at all.
I don't know. Maybe you have it set to off, but I don't have it set to off.
Yeah, I
Nobody
don't get
gets
it.
banned from the show.
No, nobody ever
Say what you won't.
gets
AI,
banned.
AI
from
Big Brother is watching. That is very accurate.
Yeah.
Live 3 times. It was like, "Are you sure you don't want to ban this guy? He's
Are
saying some
you
crazy
sure?
shit."
He
We'll be
might-
at his house
He
tonight.
might have talked shit about Lady Gaga, and we can't fucking have that.
Graham might have dice in his pocket, and he might be rolling them on the floor.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it could be.
True.
Could be.
Facts.
All right, so let's move on from the halftime show. Let's get to the actual game because I want to get to Derek Carr, Terry Bradshaw, and what was the other thing we wanted to get to too? We got to touch on LeBron making history from last week as well.
LeBron!
All right, so let's start with the game. Let's start with the poll question. What do you guys think? Because to me,
I'm going Cam Newton.
That's a good one. Okay, Cam Newton.
That's what Cam
didn't show up.
Didn't show up in the Super Bowl.
But see, I could defend Cam Newton
How?
because he went up against one of the all-time great defenses in that game.
Sure.
So
He didn't show up at all, though.
But what I'm saying is like, with this 2022 Philadelphia defense, right? And this is why I'm going to say, this is what I'm going to say about this game. All right, Jalen Hurts, I know he's the first African-American quarterback to rush for 3 touchdowns and throw for 300 under a waxing gibbous moon in the month of February in a year that ends in a 3, when Madonna is in her 17th menstrual cycle of the month or something like that. Whatever cherry-picked stat, I don't know, just be talking about Madonna.
That sounds gross.
It does. But would it surprise you?
She's way past that stage, by the way.
Whatever. Who cares?
17.
Whatever
menstrual
cherry
cycle. There's only
pick
12
stat you want to
months.
bring up about Jalen Hurts. But the bottom line is we saw why Jalen Hurts got benched in the national championship for Tua, 5 years ago, because he couldn't hold on to the goddamn fucking football. Allows the Chiefs to scoop and score.
Yes.
And that was basically the difference in the game because instead of 28-7, you're going in 24-14 at the half.
To be fair, though, they gave him one back. That was I know he threw it back to the running back, and the running back got hit and dropped it. That was a catch. To me, that's a catch.
That was not a catch. It was too quick to be a catch.
I
Because
don't like that.
just
rule.
watching it in real time, I wasn't even in front of the TV. Ask Paul. I was throwing darts at the time, and I saw the play out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, it's incomplete.
Incomplete.
You
I
know
knew they
why?
were going to call
Because
it
it
that.
was too fast. But I'm sorry. In the NFL, they always tell you, catch, 2 feet, a football move. Him turning to go run, does that not equate to a football move, though? So I
Again,
don't like that line.
It comes back to the age-old adage, what's a fucking catch?
Nobody
we
knows
don't know.
still.
Nobody knows. We just make it up as we go most times. But I could tell you right there, gut instinct, first time I saw it, out of the corner of my eye, I said, nope, that was way too ball, defender, ball and ground, way too quick. That was way too bang, bang, bang to even possibly be considered a catch. Right. And once they ruled it in, they let it go. They signaled incomplete, but they didn't blow the whistle. So they let it be it was kind of like they did the opposite of what Ed Hockley did in 2008 with Jay Cutler against the Chargers, and which is what you're supposed to do. The refs are supposed to swallow their whistles, let the play out, make your ruling, but at the end of the day, you swallow the whistle so that way it continues and we have a full play. So if they decide, ooh, no, that was a fumble, it was scooped for a score, boom, okay, there you go.
Right.
But no, I had no problem with that being called an incomplete pass. To me, that was incomplete all day. I don't know. In this day and age,
dude, Bolton would have had 2 touchdowns at defensive.
I know,
time.
and I actually said that to Paul. I was like, I'm not rooting. I don't want
crazy.
Kansas City to win this, but I'm like, kind of cool for Bolton to come out here and be like
14 points by myself.
Scored 14 on his own and have two scoop and scores in a Super Bowl. Like that's definitely Super Bowl MVP right there.
Oh yeah.
No, not with Mahomes at quarterback. That was never gonna
No,
happen.
they would still. They would. I mean, you're right. They would still
find a way to give it
if
to
they
him.
robbed Ty Law in 2001 to give it to Brady before Brady was
for
even
sure.
Brady. There's no way in hell. Was it Bolton? It was Bolton, right?
It was Bolton, 100%.
Or Boynton.
That was Bolton. Either way,
I could be wrong either way. But
Bolton,
I don't
Boynton,
want to mispronounce his name. Hold on.
I thought,
Yeah, it was Bolton. Nick
to be
Bolton.
completely fair, you can't have back-to-back years of the exact same situation happening in back-to-back Super Bowls of the referees swallow their whistle for 58 minutes and in the final 2 minutes decide holding.
Yeah.
That is so fucking suspicious.
Yep.
I don't care who you are. Obviously, 2 completely different teams in both games, or 4 completely different teams in both games. It's bullshit. Like that just screams out conspiracy theories.
Well, we posted the video of Roger Goodell sitting there on media day saying that he thinks the officiating is as good as it's ever been, and everybody's sitting there looking at him going, Roger, I know you're a company guy, but you can't possibly sit here. Like, don't sit here and lie to me. Like, don't piss in my face and tell me it's raining. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We know the officiating has been shitty.
Everybody
You know
does.
the officiating has been shitty. And the reason why the officiating has gotten so shitty is because the NFL just keeps piling on these rules, and they keep making amendments to the rules rather than getting rid of the dumb ones. Like, rather than just saying, like, all right, you know what? We're going to make this very black and white, very easy to call. Nope, let's make it more let's add more ambiguity to it. Let's make it more gray. Let's make this more convoluted and over the top, because then we can kind of pick and choose when we want to call it. And that's what frustrates fans the most. It's not the fact, like, what frustrates me about the call, and we'll talk about the holding call in the fourth quarter, is it's not that they called it. It's that there was 126 offensive snaps in that game. And they only called defensive holding one time the entire game.
Bingo.
And that was the only time they call it on a 3rd down and 8 in the biggest spot that you can possibly imagine.
I'm sorry.
And they call a ticky-tack hold. And I know everybody's got the still shot.
I'm sick of still shots.
Of the jersey. Fuck you and your still shot.
I'm sick of still
shots. If you
shots.
post that still shot, it's because you're a lazy piece of shit who's trying to fucking cover your own ass. Because if you watch that in real time, and you want to tell me with a straight face that's holding, I will literally take my dick out and slap it off your nose.
Let's go, fuck you. No.
Fuck you if you think that was holding in real time.
You gotta be careful with that comment about dick slapping. Facebook's gonna be like, "Do you want to ban yourself?" But listen,
hypothetically, of course.
Like, if I can grab Paul's jersey for a second, it was literally. Obviously it wasn't his arm, but that quick.
Yeah.
And it was. I'm sorry. If you're running with someone man to man, hold is a tug, and it stops. It impedes.
Right.
Thank you.
This never impeded his progress.
Juju is still going. Juju was like,
oh, well, Mahomes was throwing to a slot, and Juju couldn't get there because he was held. No, Juju couldn't get there because he's too busy fucking writing TikToks during the week.
Sucks.
Honestly,
and he couldn't get to the spot because his career is washed up.
And Juju, I'm sure. Fuck it. I'm just gonna bring it up right now. Juju is getting absolutely roasted by current NFL players, retired NFL players.
Oh, yeah.
And media
A.J.
today.
Brown destroyed him.
Yeah.
So if anybody
called him TikTok boy.
If anybody
Yeah, I saw
hasn't
that.
heard of what happened, let me go ahead and find you the Juju tweet from today. So, obviously, today being Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day to all of our listeners and you out there in Facebook land.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, fuck you. I hate people who say that
It's
shit.
the time of the Valen, bitch.
So, Juju made a tweet about...
Send it to the group chat and I'll post it.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
I probably should have had it up already.
There's
but-
that, there's that picture that he posted, and then there was the tweet by it was just AJ
Oh,
Brown.
it gets better.
The AJ
It gets
Brown
better.
one was awesome.
So the
They
original
roasted him.
tweet is him trying to be clever, putting up a Valentine's from I said Tynes. Valentine's from Bradbury. He says, "I'll hold you." Bradbury. I'll hold you when it matters most. And he just put Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And then AJ Brown from the top fucking rope puts quote unquote, "First off, congratulations. Y'all deserve it. This is lame. You was on the way out the league before Mahomes resurrected your career on a 1-year deal, TikTok boy. He admitted that he grabbed you, but don't act like that or ever was. But congratulations again." Bunch of emojis clapping and shit like that. Annihilated.
Yeah.
Was like, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, you guys played great. This from you is pathetic since you've been an absolute garbage receiver the last few games.
Right. You're lucky you even got a chance because you were fucking done in Pittsburgh. They had nothing to do with them.
AJ then continues. Furthermore, I think it was LeGarrette Blount tweets out, for the last 6 games, he had 190 total yards receiving.
Juju?
Including playoffs, no touchdowns, nothing. They said when you speak like that, when you try to clown another player like you did, and you weren't even making any plays for the last 6 weeks, including playoffs, the biggest time in your career, you have no ground to stand on.
Right.
Absolutely none. And then to just furthermore, players are making fun of themselves. Like before the game, I texted Joey earlier that Andy Reid, or I texted the group earlier. Andy Reid had come out and said, if anybody at halftime goes out and watches Rihanna, don't come back to the locker room. You're not playing the rest of the game.
Yeah, you benched.
And Melvin Gordon was like, I debated it. He goes, I got my ass carried here. He goes, well, I got to lose.
Yeah,
He
no
goes,
shit. I was on the Broncos.
that was actually really funny. Like I know
That's funny.
he's like, I debated it.
I mean, Melvin Gordon was never going to see the field anyway because he just
exactly.
he would have just he would have fumbled it and cost the Chiefs the game. But no, listen, Juju, like that holding call. And again, the problem that I had the most with the holding call is, right, listen, I don't really have like a tremendous horse in this race. The Chiefs, they are my second most hated team, but they haven't elevated themselves to the Patriots level yet. Maybe they will if they win another one or two, God forbid. But they haven't gotten to that point yet. So when I'm watching the game on Sunday,
I still fucking hate him.
and I'm looking and I'm just saying, like, all right, like, it sucks. If KC wins, I'll be pissed. But I was happy with the game itself. The game was good.
Yeah,
and
touchdowns.
I remember mentioning it to Paul when we were watching the game. And I remember saying, I'm like, there has not been a lot of yellow on the field.
No, which
and
is
I
great.
remember saying, like, the refs are staying out of this one and they're kind of letting them play,
Yeah.
which I was digging.
100%.
And what this did for me was just it left a bad taste in my mouth because instead of seeing Jalen Hurts with literally all the pressure in the world,
and he played out. Besides that fumble, phenomenal.
Yeah,
played great.
I know that was. I said
Played
that when
fucking great.
he fumbled that and they scored that defensive touchdown. I was like,
He's a better pro than he is a collegiate athlete. How rare is that shit? Like that's more rare than anything else. Usually, guys peak in college and they come in the NFL and they fizzle out. He was like fizzling in college before going to Oklahoma, having one good year at Oklahoma, coming to the NFL, meh, and then blew up in his third year in the league.
True.
I mean, I was blown away. His performance, I was blown away
I
by.
always liked Jalen Hurts. I was always a big
Great
Hurts
attitude. Obviously, I'm not sure if you guys saw this too. How do you say the coach's name for the Eagles? Nick Sirianni?
Sirianni.
Okay. Nick Sirianni at halftime. I'll see if I can get the video. You can play it. Was waving to Pat Mahomes injured on the sideline.
I saw that, and he was like, "Yo, chill."
And Jalen Hurts ripped his arm down and was like, "Don't do that." That to me, I was like, I don't really care for that coach. That coach seems like a clown to me.
I was gonna say he got a little too pumped, a little too
He was doing
early,
the fucking gritty
dude.
in week 18. I was
Yeah.
like, what kind of coach does this shit?
Yeah.
Like that shit bothers me. Like that bothers me. The coach of the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, he
The whole
bothers
crying
me.
thing that they went through with him, like
Him
bawling
crying,
his tears
like
out.
he's
I'm
trying
like,
to be what's his name?
No
from
Sean
Denver's-
Marino.
No Sean Marino.
Yeah, was it No Sean? Yeah.
They get the slow motion right at the time. You just see
Yeah, big. And
No
I was
Sean
like, whoa,
though.
yeah.
No Sean though has a serious eye problem. He was just leaking water for.
Yeah, that was
that was a
nutty.
lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. It's a very emotional game.
Of course, it's an emotional game, but the head coach
I know.
is not playing.
Is playing like and also on top of that, kind of acting like a clown. You know, if you're starting quarterback to be like, yo, dude, you gotta chill, and you're like,
Yes,
all right.
that was. Did you see that video?
What, Sirianni crying?
No, Sirianni
No.
waving to Patrick Mahomes being injured on the bench, like, hi, across the field, and Jalen was in front of him. Jalen pulled his arm down, was like, don't do that.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Your quarterback is being like,
and you
come on,
lost,
don't do that,
like,
man.
yeah, chill. I don't know.
And then your defense comes out and you play like shit the whole second
Act
half.
Yeah,
like you've been
so,
there before.
again,
you know? Act
and-
like you've been there before.
He wasn't.
Right.
I know,
Act like you've
that's
been there
what I'm
before
saying.
because, you might not get
You
back.
might not get back.
And that's one we talked about this earlier today. We talked about, the Bengals
Yep.
and the Bills. Everybody assumes like, yeah, we'll be back, man. Like, we got a young coach, young quarterback. We're
Bills,
good.
man.
We got a good team.
I'm telling you, Bills are going to be in trouble. Bills are going to lose a lot of players this year.
They're going to lose a lot of players, but they have a good front office. They'll rebuild and reload or whatever, and they'll do what they got to do. But on the flip side of things, Sean, and this is what it comes down to, like you just can't take these things for granted, right?
Absolutely not. 10 years for me. I know I'm sounding like a pretentious, spoiled bastard, but from 2004 to 2014, 10 years, we didn't win anything.
It was agony
Yeah.
for you. No, I'm serious. It was. I mean, you had an undefeated
Yeah.
season go up in flames.
Oh, God
you
damn it.
You got there in 2011. You lose to fucking Eli
Lose.
again.
Yep, again.
And that was on top of, you had a devastating loss. You lose to the Broncos in 2005 and Jake Plummer. You have a devastating loss in the AFC Championship in Indianapolis. The undefeated season goes up in flames. 2008, Brady goes down. You don't even make the playoffs. 9, you get thumped by the Baltimore Ravens at home. 10, you get thumped by the Jets at home. 11, again, you lose. 12, you get dicked down by Baltimore again. 13, you get absolutely smashed on the road against the Broncos. And then finally, 14, they pull through when they finally go out and they get Brandon Browning and Darrelle Revis, and they revamp the defense. And, yeah, that 2014 team was the best team in football, and it was looking like they were about to lose. If Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevell make one different phone call or play call, or somebody makes a phone call and says, hey, don't do that, we're talking about what?
And Pete Carroll hasn't been back since. And everyone thought, oh, they'll be back. Oh, they'll be back. That team is stacked.
Again, a perfect example of we'll be back. We got the quarterback. We got the defense. We got the coach.
They had both.
They had all of it. And again, this league is so fleeting. And you have to take advantage of every opportunity you get. And like I told Paul earlier today, it's what makes what Belichick and Brady did so impressive.
Yep.
Because they took advantage of every opportunity they get. You get these people out there that are like, oh, I'd rather be 4-0 in the Super Bowl than 7-3. Get the fuck out of here.
Stupidest thing I ever heard about.
I would rather go to 10 and lose 3 than go to 4 and win 4. Like, there is absolutely no part of me that would be like, yeah, you know what, though? But in this case, 4 is better than 7. No.
There's no way.
No.
Imagine asking Joe Montana that. Joe Montana said himself, Joe Montana's like, of course I would go to more Super Bowls. He goes, I lost like 3 NFC Championship games. He goes, of course I would love to go to the game.
Yeah, imagine if Joe Montana was 7-0 in Super Bowls.
Bingo.
Like, what would we be talking about right now? I mean, then, okay, we'd be like, all right, 7-0, 7-3. Like,
undefeated.
Right.
I'd be like, undefeated. You can't be undefeated in the Super Bowl when you get there.
Yeah, he still is undefeated in the Super Bowls, but if you don't get there,
4 times to the dance. That's the only difference.
It's right. So, again, when it coming back to this Philadelphia, Kansas City thing, Kansas City is doing a great job at taking advantage of these opportunities. Mahomes is young. Andy Reid doesn't have a lot left. He's going to be around, but
64, 65?
Not for long. I don't think it's for long because already you've heard the rumblings like, is this going to be it for Reid? Is this going to be his last year? Is that why Eric Bieniemy isn't taking any of these head coaching jobs because he's being groomed to just take over the Chiefs and just be the Chiefs head coach? I don't know.
I have some other thoughts.
I have some other thoughts on that one too because I don't know how a guy can interview how many times? Like 26 times in the last 4 years?
12.
Damn.
12 in the last 2.
12 in the last 2, but even
That's
more
still a lot.
in the prior like 2 or 3.
He's basically interviewed with every team.
And
besides like the Patriots. And
He
that's
hasn't
great.
gotten hired, and like never once has anyone ever leaked or said like Eric Bieniemy is the front runner for this job or that job. So I don't know what's going on with that. But again, yeah, I'll take a sprucey spruce. I'm on vacation, man. I leave for
Like 6
Daytona
hours?
in like 6 hours.
I know. Eat my ass.
I will be in the 85-degree Florida sun. By this time tomorrow, I will already be sunburnt.
Why? Because you have 0 hydration and your body is like deprived of
Excuse
water.
me, sir. I did not have my first drink until 7:30 today.
No, I'm saying by this time tomorrow because you have no water and your body's like, please, anything, even salt water at this point.
Well, I mean, my blood is pretty much been replaced with Kettle One. I'm fairly certain I have Kettle
my
One running
God.
through my veins. But
I'm jealous.
yes, no, I'm going to I'm going to the Daytona 500 on Sunday. So that's why we're going to do the betting preview here. We'll do that. We'll do that at the bottom. About top of the hour.
Top of the hour.
10 o'clock. We'll do that. 10 o'clock. Top of the hour. We'll do the Daytona 500 betting preview. So if you like betting, and you like betting on anything, like we have some friends.
Elton.
Shadis loves to bet on anything. He always asks me who, and I'm looking up the odds here, and
FYI.
I got a couple of decent long odds. Like I got some plus 3,500 odds that if they hit, which I would have hit, I did hit on my pick. I did hit. I didn't bet money at the sports book because I didn't go to Rhode Island to put the money down, or my buddy didn't go that day.
Yeah.
But I would have won $3,500 by putting a bean down.
Hey, nice.
On,
Listen, I had to text Elton today, a follow-up to our conversation we had on Saturday here for our year-end draft party, and he texts me back. He goes, hey, sorry, I'm a little bit busy. He is at a roulette table. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you this real quick about what is wrong with you? Yes, sir. Oh, he's a total degenerate, but he's a good gambler. So I think we're gonna have a segment coming, introducing a segment where he'll call in on Tuesdays.
Easy E.
And yeah, we
Easy
just call
E.
it easy. We can call it Easy C.
Easy Shadis.
Easy Shadis.
That just sounds
And
funny.
Easy C.
We put his
And,
face at the end of a Shadis.
And we'll get his little favorite betting tips and of the week coming
He
up.
bets on everything.
Everything.
He bets on ping pong.
He literally just goes on his thing and bets on everything and anything. He's total degenerate. It's
Insane.
awesome. I love it. And he's good. He's good. He's very good. I mean,
Sometimes-
he took Kansas City in the over. I took Philly in the under.
Well,
I got housed.
I think the over was fine. I'm still pissed that Kansas City won that game.
I'm still pissed Kansas City won, and I'm still pissed that Philadelphia's defense made an absolute fucking mockery of me.
And-
They made a fool out of me because I sat there and I said, when it came down to picking this game, I'm like, you got this team that has the third most sacks in NFL history in a season. This team has the first team with four players with 11 plus sacks. Hassan Reddick has been an absolute fucking animal. I mean, these guys
You all right?
are on a roll right now. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, well, they beat San Francisco with no quarterback." I'm like, "Yeah, because they knocked both their quarterbacks out of the game.
They beat the brakes off of them
because
too.
they literally annihilated both of their quarterbacks." And like, "Oh, well, they haven't been tested all year." And I'm like, "I get what you're saying,
Yep.
but you don't register 75 sacks in a season just based off of luck or not being tested." And they're like, "Well, who's the best quarterback they beat?" And they're like, Dak Prescott. And I'm like, okay, but that's pretty good still. Like, you still have to work to get those sacks. Like, just because the quarterbacks aren't great doesn't mean the offensive lines aren't or the running games aren't and vice versa, whatever. There's a lot more that goes into getting a sack than just, oh, that's Taylor Heineke, so we're going to sack him 7 times. Like, no, like, it doesn't work that way.
If that was the case, Von Miller would have fucking
Oh, yeah, right.
4 or 5 sacks against, fucking.
Name in
I was going to say, I'm like, well, the field's the limit here, so I don't really.
insert quarterback here. Like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
When they went up against Chicago in 2015 with Jay Cutler, he should have had about 90 sacks according to that metric. But I digress. But Philadelphia's defense made a fucking fool out of me. They made a liar out of me.
They made a fool of themselves.
And then on top of it, they made a fool of themselves. 0 sacks, 0 turnovers,
yeah, it was bad.
not even a forced fumble.
They twisted his ankle when they caught him running.
Yep.
And then, how come Patrick Mahomes didn't get a post-game drug test? Comes back from halftime after a 30-minute halftime, and the dude ran for 40 yards after halftime after he was screaming in pain, like 2 minutes to go in the second quarter.
I know.
I thought I saw some fake shit floating around.
Because again, you never underestimate the power of painkillers and cortisone.
Sure.
I mean,
Toradol.
Whatever. Like, they can pump these dudes full of so much shit at this point that they don't feel anything. And it's like, it's a high ankle sprain. I can't really damage it more it's just a pain tolerance thing. Fine. Load me up on painkillers. I will feel nothing, and we will be good. And that's all there is to it. I mean, it's the Super Bowl. And you know what? Honestly,
I would do it too.
Let's give Pat Mahomes some fucking credit because he went out and balled the fuck out.
Honestly,
Granted,
I like
he only
Pat.
threw for 183 yards, which if you told me Mahomes was going to throw for 183 yards in this game,
won easy.
I'm like, yeah, Philly wins in a blowout.
I thought Philly's defense gave the Chiefs 14 points. No, I lied.
Yes.
21 points. 21 points.
Well,
2 open receivers at opposite ends of the field.
Yep.
Which nobody even covered. And the other players look at each other
and the
like,
defense,
not my guy.
And the scoop and score.
And scoop and score, absolutely.
Yep. When I saw the scoop and score, like I said, I was like, that's going to be the difference.
21 points they gave. They gifted the Chiefs 21 points.
I did not expect Philly at that point.
I felt bad for
a
Sean.
defense-
those 2
score.
touchdowns on the goal line,
Inexcusable.
I have no idea. And of course, Arizona goes out and hires
I was going to say, good luck, Arizona.
the defensive coordinator. What's his name?
A no name.
Not Steichen. The
No,
other
that's
guy.
Oz.
No,
That's
he
your
went
guy.
to
That's the Colts.
He went to the Colts, which I thought that was a pretty decent hire.
I just fucking saw it. Dude.
Steichen's a great hire.
I hope.
Smart young mind.
I'm
I'm
kind
very-
of hoping for like some Kyle Shanahan-esque shit.
Well,
That's what
don't
Yes.
shoot for the moon.
No,
Just like
yes. That's what
No,
I want.
I'm very excited for the Colts for next year for that hire. I really am because I think that's a Nick Sirianni, that's a Kyle Shanahan, a McVay style hire. They didn't go and get Eric Bieniemy, which I love.
How did the Cardinals have one interview for this dude who nobody knows and nobody cares
And
about?
they was like, that's it.
Hired him.
Bring him in.
Like, didn't that break the Rooney Rule right there?
Jonathan Gannon. Jesus Christ, I don't know. I couldn't think of that.
Didn't that break the Rooney Rule?
No, because they'd been hired. They'd interviewed. I think Eric Bieniemy had an interview there. Double E had an interview there.
Did he really?
Fairly certain Raheem Morris had an interview there.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear about those.
This
then.
is right because you got to remember, like the interview process starts obviously Black Monday happens, and then the interviews start that week.
Right.
But look at how much like the Broncos dragged out the Sean Payton thing.
Yeah.
Sean Payton was the guy
For a
the
while.
entire time. There was never anybody else. And the whole Jim Harbaugh thing
I knew it.
was just Walton throwing Jim Harbaugh a bone, letting Harbaugh use the Broncos as leverage against Michigan to get more money. Peyton was the guy. He was always the guy. Remember when Peyton came on the set Wild Card Weekend wearing the orange the orange tie with the blue shirt?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh. And they asked him
It
about
was.
that. And they're like, did you know? He's like, yeah. Yeah. It was me the whole
But Payton, I like that.
but he said he was very coy about it. He didn't
course.
say obviously yes because he couldn't obviously admit that I was already the guy. I already knew I was the guy. But the only hang up was the compensation. You know
Right.
what the Saints wanted for Sean Payton. So
Yeah. But the Wallens were like, we're going to throw the bag at you, kids. So.
and he's only making like 17, 18 a year, which to me
Who
is
cares? It doesn't count towards anything.
18
it's
million
nothing
a year?
Dude, it's for a coach.
for
Yeah, that's. Wow,
for a
that's-
top 5 head coach in the league.
Yeah, Belichick's getting like 25.
I mean, what do you got?
many
You got
years? How many
Belichick,
years?
Belichick,
5?
Reed.
Was it 5
Belichick,
years?
Reed, and Tomlin's up there too.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, but like
Pete Carroll's up there.
in terms of success, Tomlin, Reed, Pete Carroll.
Yeah, true. I guess
Belichick.
you're right, yeah.
The other Harbaugh from Baltimore, pretty decent.
Yeah, Harbaugh, he's pretty good. And then and then you start getting Sean Payton. Like Sean Payton's back in the mix. He's absolutely in
Sean
that
Payton
top.
immediately jumps back in the top 5. Immediately.
Yeah, that's great.
Sean Payton, I'm the one that talked you into Sean Payton, and you're like, I don't know.
I know because I wasn't sure about. I didn't know if I wanted to give up the first round pick because it wasn't
cares?
just because it wasn't just initially it wasn't the first reports that came out when we had that conversation.
Great coach.
To be fair to me,
Right.
it was going to be a first round pick, maybe more in terms of like multiple first round picks.
Still,
And I'm like, ugh.
he drafts and develops players well.
I know, but you don't. I'm not a big fan. Like money is one thing.
Sure.
Giving up draft capital is another.
Sure.
But then again, I'm on team fuck those picks. I
There
don't
you
know what
go.
those picks are ever going to be.
There you go.
You know, those picks could be fucking that could be the next we could take the next Ashley Lilly.
I
wouldn't who
I
wants
keep
that?
telling you, I'm like,
No
look at
disrespect
those.
to Ashley Lilly. He was actually a great player.
Look
but
at those Saints rosters. Those Saints rosters were garbage. Most of the players, because you had like 4 or 5, 6, 7 top end players, like most teams, and the rest
Michael
of those guys,
Thomas,
you're
Alvin
like
Kamara,
Drew Brees. Go on.
Cam Jordan,
4.
the safety there that missed the tackle on the Minneapolis.
Is that Lattimore?
Lattimore.
5.
I know I'm missing
Darren
more.
Chapa.
Whoa. No, that's way before. That's way.
Well, he was still Sean Payton.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's like, dude, we're talking
But
14
that's what I
years
mean.
ago.
Like you're talking about, and like his years, you need
Four-
like 5 dominant
Darren
players.
Sharper was 2009, 10. Like that dude, that's 13, 14
Holy
years
shit.
ago now.
I can't wrap my head around that.
That
still.
I
Yeah,
remember
I know, dude,
remember
it
watching
sucks.
that Colts Saints Super Bowl,
Fuck that game.
and to think that was 14 years ago
heartbreaking.
is to me is just like, huh?
Kids that were just born are already in high school, and you're like, what? Like you think of it that way too.
Who the fuck?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You just got really depressed. You're like, oh my god, this
Kids
baby
were
was born at that moment. He's already in high school.
Damn.
Old.
What was I gonna say though? But no, he's a great, and that's why I kept telling you. I'm like,
Thank
you know
God
what?
I'm still a fucking monster on the bench because if I couldn't bench press as much weight as I would feel way older.
I mean, Harbaugh. I was like, he's gonna come in. He's gonna just decimate your defense. And I was like, Peyton is a guy that's gonna maximize the most out of what he has on that team. And I'm like, and he's straight up with you. Like he had dinner with him and Sierra and somebody else. I
Right,
don't
he's
know.
trying to get to know Russ a little better.
Yeah, and
Yeah, he had dinner
built
with him. He was
some
basically
chemistry up.
like he was basically like, hey, listen, like if you want to win, we're gonna do it my way.
Yeah, no, you don't have all these trainers coming
yeah,
in.
ain't gonna be none of the. You're not getting no Alex Guerreros. You're not getting your own private fucking office and parking space and shit like that. Like no. You're a player on the team,
You're in
and
the
that's what
trench
I
with
love.
the grunts,
And you know
bitch.
what? If Russ doesn't want to abide by that and go with it, listen, man, I'm already
ship him out.
I'm already on Team Peyton in this regard because I know Sean Payton is a proven winner. I know Russell Wilson can throw a football, but I also trust the fact that Sean Payton could find me basically
Any
anybody.
quarterback
Or
to coach
to
up.
throw a football.
Not just that, people want to play with Sean Payton.
Also,
look
yes.
at Brady. Brady and him were trying to team together in Miami, and Brian Flores fucked the whole
Can you
thing
imagine
up.
if we end up fucking trading, like if Brady comes out of retirement, we trade Russell Wilson to Miami and we get Tom Brady?
No
I'll kill
way.
myself. I'll fucking kill myself.
I don't know about
No, he's done. He
I'll be like,
he filed his
yeah, I
papers
know,
and
he filed the
everything.
papers. Yeah.
J.J. Watt, great comment. I don't know about all those papers. I ain't filing it, but I'm still retired.
Yeah. I would absolutely fucking off. I'd be like, you know what, guys? It's been fun. I would kill myself right on air.
But what happens if he won with you? What would you do?
I'd start a shotgun in a heartbeat.
What happened if that scenario ever happened and he won a Super Bowl
If
with
Brady
the
got
Broncos,
his
what would
8th
you
in
do?
Denver, oh my god, I would stop watching football. I'd quit.
You take your laptop.
I'd be like, well,
That was the end.
Yeah,
of it.
that's one that you can't really celebrate.
I'd be like, that was a fun chapter of my life. Thanks for ruining it, and I'll see you on the other side. Right behind, right in the medulla oblongata. You know, I don't want to feel anything. I want to make sure it's clean. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I would seppuku right on there. So like, dude, the Japanese fucking just like disembowel myself. Like, Tom Brady, you
have
do
to-
this to me.
You have to take off your shirt first and then break a pen and then write in like those cursing on your. I don't know what the hell they write. But yes, and then you disembowel yourself.
Yeah, and that's how I would do it. If Brady won his 8th Super Bowl in Denver with Sean Payton.
You don't have to worry about it. He's done. Gone forever.
But then again, I say that now, but then I would probably by like week 6, I'd be like, yeah, we're 5-1. Say so bad. Be like,
yeah,
say so bad.
yeah.
Yeah, life's pretty good. We're winning. You know, it's not about the name. It's about the name on the front, not about the one on the back, bitch. 774-992-8702. Biggest no-show in Super Bowl history. The 2022 Eagles defense, the 2013 Broncos offense, or other. You had an other.
I had Cam Newton.
You had Cam Newton. But again, I could make the argument that Cam went up against a absolutely legendary, one of the probably top 5 defenses of all time in that 2015 Broncos team.
Shouldn't you show up a
But-
little bit though?
What was and that's why I put the Eagles and the Broncos, because the Eagles were record set. They weren't record setting, like they didn't pace the course. You know, they didn't beat the 84 and the 85 Bears in terms of sacks, but they had the most sacks of any team in the modern era. And I know they got the extra game. Spare me, like whatever. This is the world we're living in now. I don't like it as much as anybody.
Right.
But they had the most sacks. You know, they had the most dominant defense. They were, I mean, what were they, like second or third in points allowed? Points against, let's see, they were actually only 8th in points against, which is actually surprising
That's
for a
not
team.
bad, I guess.
For a team, but they were top 10 in points against, but it was the number 1 in sacks. That was the biggest thing. And then to be number 1 in sacks in the league and then not get a single sack in the Super Bowl
Yeah, that was hot.
just
That was
seems to me
pathetic.
like you're like something was missing. And that's why I put them up against the 2013 Broncos, because the Broncos, they scored, you know, they set the record with whatever 600 points, whatever it was that year.
Yep.
And they got 1 touchdown in the Super Bowl.
To show you how bad Cam Newton was in the Super Bowl against Denver, he was 18 for 41, a 43% completion percentage,
Jesus.
260 yards passing, 1 interception, no touchdowns, and took 7 sacks for a loss of 84 yards.
Oh, I remember.
Jesus, that is horrific.
That's what I mean.
That's so bad.
And he was the MVP that season. He was the MVP. He
Yeah.
couldn't do a fucking thing. Now, yes, Denver had a phenomenal defense that year.
Yep.
Is the MVP held to nothing in the Super Bowl ever?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kurt Warner in 01.
No, he wasn't held to nothing.
No,
Warner had a
no,
good game.
14 points.
Yeah, I mean, he was held to 14 points, but he had a decent game stat-wise.
Stat-wise, he put up yards, but he also had the pick 6. He had some some pretty bad throws. Like he
But
wasn't.
when you think of that
They
game,
weren't that good.
he didn't lose that
or
game.
what about Rich Gannon in 02? Had a horrible game.
He was the MVP,
Sex
though. Was
Gannon.
he MVP that year, Rich Gannon? I don't
02,
think so.
yeah.
He was?
I'm 99.9% sure of it. Unless I'm misremembering. Let's see, 2002.
Say Rex Grossman had a
Yeah,
pretty
Rich
bad one
Gannon,
too,
MVP.
right? Or are we talking about winners? Just winners.
You're right.
I know I'm right. I'm always right.
He's old as shit.
Uh,
Wow.
And then, all right, so let's go. Run down the list. I mean, you had. All right, so Rich Gannon had a bad game. He was the MVP in that game. Let's see. Peyton was the MVP in 09. He didn't have a great game in that Super Bowl against the Saints, but he didn't have a bad one
Well, I mean,
either.
besides the Tracy Porter pick 6, that was
Right.
pretty much it.
I mean, obviously, Brady was the MVP in 07. He had a pretty bad game against the Giants.
Yeah, he had a meh game. Exactly. All
Very
right.
meh game. I mean, gave him the lead when it was, go time, but that was that. And then Matt Ryan was he was the MVP in that.
He had a
infamous
good game though.
2016.
He
Yeah.
first half he threw it out of the fucking end zone.
I know, but we all know how that turned out. Was Brady MVP in 17? No.
No, he
17 was who was MVP in 17?
Brady was MVP in 15, wasn't he?
No. 15 was Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was MVP in 17. Brady.
Oh, and they lost. Yeah,
And they
makes
lost to
sense.
Philly. But he
But
had
he
a
had
great game. He had a great
Yeah,
game.
most
yeah.
passing yards in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, he threw for 5 bills. Yeah, I mean, look, you can go down the list. I mean, there's plenty of guys that have been great regular seasons. So that's why I'm saying, like, I get what you're saying about Cam, but I'm willing to give Cam the out because he went up again. It's not like Cam went up against just like, he didn't go up against the 2022 Philadelphia Eagles defense and get blown out.
Right.
No, he went up against the 2015 Broncos defense that you're putting up there with, the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, the 04 Patriots, the 08 Steelers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The 15 Broncos. I mean,
Right.
the 2015 Broncos were in that category. The 02 Bucks. Those were great, lethal defenses. And you're the Broncos go in that category. That's why, I don't know. I can't quite kill Cam Newton for struggling against that defense.
I think I remember just seeing
Because
it in
everybody,
real
I mean,
time.
because it's not like they just went in there and they walloped Cam Newton. They beat the brakes off of Brady the week before. They hit him more times in a game than Brady's ever been hit. Sacked him more times in a game than he's ever been sacked, if I'm not mistaken. Intercepted him 3 times. They did the same thing to Big Ben and the Steelers in the divisional round. I mean, it wasn't like they and if I'm not mistaken, in 2015, those teams were the Patriots were the number 2 offense in the league. No, they were the number 3 offense in the league. The Steelers, the Carolina Panthers were the number 1, and the Steelers, I believe, were up there too. 4th. The 3rd, 4th, and number 1 offenses in the NFL, the Broncos beat in succession.
Right.
4-3-1 in that order. To me, that's not a fluke. That's not like this guy just, he shit himself when the lights were the brightest. No. He ran into a fucking buzzsaw. And the no-fly zone with TJ Ward, Darian Stewart, Chris Harrison, and my homie Talib. That defense, and then fucking forget about it, dude. You had D. Wolf, Malik Jackson, DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, Danny Trevathan. There was no weak spot on that Denver defense. We talked a lot about how, in that year when, it was the Patriots and the Broncos and we had the regular season game in the snow in Mile High. And everybody's like, oh, Gronk got hurt. There was no Edelman. Amendola was banged up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they get them all back healthy for the AFC Championship, and they actually do less.
Wait, 15?
Yeah, because they put up, it was...
No, was that the year we lost all the guys? And I think that was the championship we had nobody.
No, that was 13. That was 13. 13 was the year when you guys were trotting out, when Aqib Talib got taken out by Wes Welker.
No, that was the Aqib Talib. Yeah, but we'll hold on.
No,
Hold on.
Aqib Talib played for us in 15.
No, I'm saying 13. You were right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm right.
No,
The year 13 was the year you guys were trotting out God, what was that kid's name? It was your number 1 fucking receiver, and he was terrible.
Matthew Slater.
No, it wasn't even Matthew Slater. He was worse, I think. Maybe Matthew Slater was your number 1, but that was about as good as it got. You guys were struggling. No, that was the game. That was the year because 2015. It was, let's see, you guys scored 24 in Denver in the regular season on that Sunday night game.
Hold up.
Or Monday night game. Was it Monday night? No, Sunday night. That was Sunday night game.
Fucking shit, come on. Show
Trust me,
Patriots, show
13 was the year
Patriots
that you guys had. No, that was the 27-16 game when Pot Roast had the big sack on Brady
Pot
in the third
Roast.
quarter.
Pot roast.
Remember? Come on. Work with me here, Sean.
I think so. Okay.
All right, 774-992-8702. Moving on. Let's get to. All right, so we're done with the game. Biggest no show. Give us your calls. Give us your thoughts. The call was trash. I don't care what anybody says.
You said it right earlier, and I know we're getting off of this topic to go to the next topic, but I really want to say this as well. Like you're watching the game, it's not nonstop shootout, all offense, no defense, basically either side, and then the game to end like that. It's like such a sour taste.
It really did, and it made me wake up Monday morning going, that could have been one of the greatest Super Bowls. Like, you go back to like Patriots Panthers, great Super Bowl. Outstanding game. Patriots Seahawks, outstanding game. I hate to say it, Patriots Falcons. I mean, not a great game, but an epic comeback. It had a great story, a great feel to it. Philadelphia New England, great game. There was this had the ability to be that good of a game. Like I'm sorry, Rams Bengals I thought was a great game last year, but again, the refs got in the way at the end, and you're like, what the fuck? Like
under 2 minutes again.
Can we stop? Like Colts Saints, great fucking game.
Yep.
Which R.I.P. Larry Coyer, by the way, passed away this week.
Shit.
Former defensive coordinator for those 09 Saints. I'm sorry, for the Colts, actually. He was the defensive coordinator for the Colts in 09. Longtime Broncos defensive coordinator as well. Passed away 75 years old this year, so this week. So rest in peace, Larry Coyer. Big fan of Larry Coyer. You know who else is a big fan of Larry Coyer? Ian Gold, my motherfucking man. Ian Gold was one of my favorite fucking players. You can come in the huddle and be like, he telling somebody, he letting y'all loose right now. Somebody get the fuck home. And I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, boom, Drew Brees goes down. Boom, Drew Brees goes down. Boom, Drew Brees throws a pick six to Champ Bailey. Bang. Season saved. Anyway, I digress. But let's get into a little bit of this Derek Carr thing, because this is going to send shockwaves throughout the entire NFL. This is going to be major. Sean, you kind of had the inside track on this.
Okay. So earlier today,
you take it away.
The Oakland Las Vegas Raiders, they released Derek Carr. Now you're saying to yourself, well, that makes sense. The last 2 weeks of the season, he didn't play. They sent him home. Seems pretty easy to understand, right? So the Raiders released him today. The Relators. I can't speak English tonight. I'm really stuttering with my words tonight. So they released him early today, and you think, okay, well, they save about $29 million in cap space, which gives the Raiders roughly $50 million. Why is this important? This all sounds good. The thing is that the Raiders could have traded him before today's deadline, which they would have owed him, I think, $30 or $40 million. So they cut him today, but by cutting him and not trading him, they take a bigger cap hit. So he refused to accept a trade. Now, he's likely going to sign on with possibly the Colts. Carolina, Colts, but the favorite is the Saints.
Not the Colts.
Favorite is the Saints.
No.
And so
I would love him in Indy.
He spent 2 days with the Saints. More than likely getting released, he's going right to the Saints, but the Saints would have traded for him, and he said, I'm not accepting any trade, no matter what. That screws over the Las Vegas Raiders. The biggest thing that you have to understand about that is that the team suffers now, because now they have to take that $50 million in cap space they have, and they have to designate a good amount of it to a quarterback. So you have Josh McDaniels, you have Mark Davis. Mark Davis, by the way, who shaved his head today. Did you see that?
I did.
Bald. Did you fall asleep just now?
No, why?
He got rid of that yee ass haircut. Let me see how.
He's completely bald.
Really?
Mark Davis, yeah, completely bald. He looks better.
Well, that's about.
He looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin now.
He looked terrible before.
With the bowl haircut, for sure. So now they're going to have to designate money to a quarterback. And you think if they go after Jimmy Garoppolo is going to ask anywhere between $25 and $30 million.
Big money.
As
yeah.
a known, I told you, as a known journeyman at this point.
Yeah.
Or if you go have a Durant caller, or I think Shane is in the chat as well, if you believe the Aaron Rodgers stipulation, Aaron Rodgers is going to command $40 million just for this season.
Damn.
Okay? So you're talking about all of your cap space now going to a quarterback position.
Yeah.
And you have so many holes in this Raider team to fix. So I thought that was a nice little FU from Derek Carr to the Raiders franchise one last time. No,
I highly agree.
That's what came across to me.
It definitely,
Especially just
definitely
trashing
was
them
an
like they
FU.
did. When they trashed them the way they did, I was like, you fucking scumbags.
And just because, and just to add more fuel to the fire, the Raiders somehow leaked some information about Derek Carr today.
Yep.
Those internally that work in the Raiders organization said Carr isn't tough enough to hang in the pocket, and he's not a good player in cold weather.
Right.
Now, how does that leak out internally from the Raiders on the day they're going to release him before he gets released?
Yeah.
That's like kind of like a, oh yeah, you fucked us. Like we're gonna try to secretly fuck you as well.
Yeah, we're gonna give you absolutely no clout coming out of here like you're a good player, and then we're gonna trash you. That way you get signed by peanuts from some shit squad.
So he's probably definitely going to the Saints. That's my take. My take is
Yeah.
he's 100% going to be a New Orleans Saint.
Hey, not bad for him. Is if they retain Michael Thomas and Kamara, but I don't know.
Michael Thomas is gone.
He's already out.
Michael Thomas is gone. Kamara's probably staying because they have no players.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I wouldn't mind him in Indy. I'll take them both.
Well, I don't.
I'll take them both, dog.
We haven't seen Michael Thomas in about 2 years.
I know it's been a while.
All last season and most of the
has
season
been a
before that.
while. Yeah.
I think I'm going to pass.
Yeah.
If it's not a vet min or a very cheap contract, I don't think I'm interested at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying
at-
get him on the cheap. Prove yourself. Let's get
Look
back to
at
business.
Deshaun. Deshaun had no injuries. Deshaun was basically gone for 2 years, and he came back with the Cleveland Browns, and he looks like shit.
Yeah, I know.
That happens though.
In
You
his
can't-
last year or two in Houston, he looked really good.
You can't take anybody from the NFL, which is the top of your game. If you're not constantly honing your craft, you're falling behind. And you're talking about Michael Thomas, who had Achilles and ankle problems, and he's going to come back after 2 years of not playing. I don't know. I don't see it.
No, you never know.
He's a flyer. Someone's going to take a flyer on him. He may be good. He may be bad. That's a flyer. That's all he is at this point.
Right.
And what is he, 30? It's death for wide receivers.
Is he? Huh? He's that old now?
Hold on. I got to look up how old
I
Michael
don't
Thomas
know how
is.
old Michael Thomas is.
We're going to find out.
Yeah, I could.
So
I
we're
mean,
going to look at Slant Boy.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, he's
I'll
going
look at
to be 30.
Is it? Oh, wow.
March 30 turns 30.
March 30
That is
on
the
th-
wrong
3:30
time.
turns 30.
That is the wrong time to turn 30. Other guys who have declined since hitting 30, Jarvis Landry.
A lot. Yeah.
Amari
Probably a
Amari
ton.
Cooper's 27. I thought that fucking dude was 35. Speaking of another, he went to Cleveland, did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Amari Cooper. Yeah.
Yeah, died.
He's back. He's still in Dallas, right?
No, he's in Cleveland. He was in Cleveland last year. They traded his ass there.
Oh, they got rid of him.
He traded him to Cleveland. He gained 40 pounds.
Who the hell am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking of C.D. Lamb. Never mind.
Oh my God, CeeDee Lamb was
I'm
like
like,
half
who's
his weight.
there big time? I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, they did get rid of him. I forgot. I'm like, yeah, that's why Amari Cooper was absolutely fucking nowhere this year. But that's just how Cleveland rolls anyway. But
Big time.
worst organization in the NFL. But
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get this picture of Mark Davis, but like this is not.
You're
So-
still
so-
trying that?
No, it's just something's not cooperating.
I mean, he looks horrible, but better than his fucking bowl cut. I'll tell you that. I'm glad to see him out of that because that bowl cut was absolutely hideous. Looks like that kid with that school picture. Remember, like the kid in like 3rd grade with the fucking crooked ass bowl cut.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like.
It's got like the missing tooth. The
But
kid's
he was a rich kid, comes from a rich family. He didn't really care what people perceived him as.
Yeah, fuck it. He owns the Raiders. Now they got to figure
I'm
out.
only taking so much time on this because it's absolutely worth it. All right, here we go.
I mean, yeah. It looks
Did you
pretty
finalize
good.
it yet? Did you get it in there?
He's getting there. I can see. Yeah. I don't know what he's wearing, but
He's wearing a whiteout suit.
yeah.
Listen, it's this. I wouldn't be going through this if it wasn't worth it.
He looks like Kingpin from Spider-Man.
There we go. Okay.
Oh.
All right, here we go. All right,
Celtics.
You ready for this?
Minute 21 left.
Ready for this? This is Mark Davis now, without the yee ass haircut. He actually looks like a grown man. He looks like an adult.
About time. Probably some of his advisors and family were just
Ah.
like, "You look like shit, man."
They were probably just like, dude, you gotta knock it off with the haircut.
The bowl cut was bad.
Do we want to?
Was it a wig? Was that whole thing a wig the whole time?
Man, imagine that.
Because that hair was pinpoint straight and
I mean,
blonde.
he looks much better.
Yeah, that bowl cut was horrific.
He looks
Maybe it was-
much
maybe
better
it was a
without the
wig.
hair.
Yeah, maybe people actually, when they're talking to him, will take him seriously now. You know?
Well, he looks more intimidating too.
Like the
When you
bangs,
have a-
like I don't know what he's doing with the bangs
When you
here.
had bangs. If you have bangs as a grown man, no one's taking you seriously.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
I mean-
Bald, everyone's intimidated.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, look, let's just do this real quick.
You know what he should have got? He should have got flame tattoos on his bald head. Why not?
Yeah.
Looking like a complete badass like Harley
Yeah, he can go
Davidson.
potty
like,
with Jim Irsay and do blow and whatever the hell.
go to
else they're
coaches' houses for
fucking
12
doing.
hours
Yeah.
and do blow in the bathroom.
I mean, like I don't know what he's doing with these bangs here in this picture. Like he looks so much better without the hair. Like just embrace it, dog. Like come on, like you're.
Imagine if he did it by accident. He was like, "Oh, I accidentally cut my hair too short."
Imagine,
so
imagine if he went to like cut his own bangs. He cut them crooked. He was like,
I'll just shave it and start over.
"Fuck."
That's what probably what happened.
Fuck.
I did that in 6th grade. I went to like trim my own bangs a little bit, and I like went clip, and I was like, "Oh no,
You went clip.
clip."
Clip. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had the bowl cut in 6th grade. You know what I mean? I was rocking the bowl cut pretty good.
I think everybody did.
And
Right.
yeah, dude, I rocked that shit hard as fuck. And but anyway, it was he looks a lot better without it. But where do you think like Derek Carr just fucked the Raiders pretty bad. And now the big question becomes who is Derek Carr going to bequeath his
Carolina. I was in
skills to?
Carolina.
I don't see Carolina. I really do see the Saints. He spent
The
two
Saints
full
make
days
the Saints
with the
make a
Saints.
lot of sense because they got
And it's a
Derek,
dome.
a rebuild, which goes in line with what the Raiders were saying internally, how he struggles
Fucking-
in cold weather.
Right.
He's mentally weak. All the the hit piece was in full effect for him.
Didn't the former Raiders coach go to New Orleans?
Dennis Allen, the guy who drafted him.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go play for his old coach.
Bingo.
I mean, the Saints make a shit ton of sense. I think Durant actually said the Saints a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He called it the
Yeah,
Saints.
I believe he did.
But don't be surprised. I mean, with finally you got a new coach in Indianapolis. Now he might know what he wants. And
Yeah, let's make
I don't
some
know.
trades, baby.
Do the Colts go with C.J. Stroud? Do they perhaps go with Bryce Young? Do they
I
or do
wouldn't
they bring
mind
in?
seeing this coach
or do
come
they-
in and groom his own new
Or do they
kid.
try to salvage what they've got left on that roster in terms of talent and bring in Derek Carr? Because I
No,
feel like Derek
I don't
Carr
think-
makes sense.
I don't think Derek Carr goes to
Nah,
Indianapolis.
not
I think
Derek
I think he's dead set on New Orleans.
Like I said, I would rather have C.J. Stroud.
Well,
or
I mean,
Bryce
the
Young
ball is
over
100%
Derek
in
Carr.
his court now.
for sure.
Even though he told the Raiders, like, "Oh, you're going to trade me there? I'm not accepting it." And they were like,
Fuck.
"Fudge."
We'll trade you for a.
But they didn't say fudge.
no.
No.
They said the big F.
Daddy's going to
F.
kill Ralphie.
Yeah.
Um,
And he fucked him.
They fucked him. So it was good. But I'm excited to see where Carr ends up because that is
too.
going to shake up a
Yeah.
lot. And you know what? Honestly, it takes the Raiders straight out of contention now.
Absolutely.
Like the Raiders now are. I mean, I don't even. That's laughable. Laughable to think the Raiders
I
are
feel
even going to
bad
win
for
6.
Devontae Adams.
I can't
Actually,
even.
no, I don't.
Unless they get Aaron Rodgers, I can't see the Raiders
Right.
winning 5 games next year.
Right. That's gonna be a rough one.
I mean, what are they going to get? Even if they get Jimmy Garoppolo,
So
Yeah.
which Sean called.
Who's gonna play?
I
3
called a
games?
year ago.
He's gonna play 3
Like,
games.
right, the day they hired Josh McDaniels, you said, enjoy Carr while you got him because Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be your guy for
He-
the Raiders fans.
Josh
and the pieces
loves,
are falling
and-
into place
No,
right
Josh
now.
loves.
And Jimmy's
going to
come in.
Loves him.
He's going to play 5 to 8 games, and he's going to win you 4 to 6 of those.
I
and that's gonna be
guarantee.
it.
Watch McDaniels go out, get Jimmy Garoppolo. He'll sign Jacoby Brissett, and then he'll have Jarrett Stidham. Those are going to be the 3 quarterbacks for the Oakland Raiders next year.
Would you be surprised?
No, I'm almost confident of it. Because Josh McDaniels falls in love with guys, and even though nobody else can see it, everyone else is like, "Why the fuck
Why?
why is Brandon Bolden getting starting
Like
minutes?
Kyle Orton?
Yes, and then Tim Tebow, he falls in love with these guys, and
All
he's
right,
like,
Tim Tebow I can see. Tim Tebow was majestic as fuck.
I know, but dude, later in his career,
Wait,
you're
did
like,
you ever
"All right,
did you ever watch Tim Tebow play under John Fox? I mean, come on.
My God is an awesome God. He's watching the ball in practice.
Tim Tebow is the greatest American hero.
You mentioned the quarterback situation for the Colts, and it jogged my memory because I was in the car earlier and I was listening to like a podcast, and they said, and it was Pat McAfee, and Pat said they had the Jim Irsay on live as he was introducing Shane.
Yeah.
And Jim Irsay goes, "We're drafting a quarterback first," and he goes, I don't think Chris Ballard really appreciated that answer because he just stared at Jim Irsay like, you told everyone what we're doing, you stupid bastard. Like,
Or maybe it was just a head fake, and Chris Ballard was told to just, hey, look at me like I'm an asshole. I'm going to say this. And I know I'm giving Jim Irsay a lot of credit here, but isn't Jim Irsay good friends with Vince McMahon, though? Like, couldn't they, Vince be like in Jim Irsay's ear being like,
God damn it, pal.
Do it this way. If
Yeah.
you do it this way.
Well, we'll see how it
They'll
goes.
believe
I'm happy
it.
about the head
Trust
coach.
me.
I'm glad we got somebody
You should
legit.
be. As a Colts fan today, you should be fucking stoked. You should be
Yeah.
just as stoked. I mean, not just as stoked,
I
but
can't wait for the draft, and we'll see what we do.
you should
Who's
be.
your OC?
They don't know yet. He hasn't hired his staff. They just hired the.
You know who they should go after?
Hmm.
The former Jets head coach, who I think is immensely talented. He used to be the quarterbacks coach for Peyton Manning. What's his name? Looked like when he got introduced to the Jets head coach, looked like he was like high on coke when he was like looking all around the room.
Oh, Adam Gase.
I think Adam Gase is phenomenal
Oh, Adam
offensively.
Gase.
Well, he was the OC in Denver.
Yeah, I think he's phenomenal. Yeah. I said quarterbacks coach. That was my mistake.
That's why I was like,
But I
quarterbacks
think
coach,
Adam Gase would be a
quarterbacks coach.
phenomenal OC.
I wouldn't hate that.
No, Adam Gase would be great. I mean, look, talk about a tale of two different introductory head coaching press conferences. Nick Sirianni had almost as cringy of a opening press conference as Adam Gase did, and yet Adam Gase got Nick Sirianni, got his team to the Super Bowl. So what are we all looking at? What's going on?
116.
Um,
How are the Celtics with nobody playing?
Sam Hauser just jade a 29-foot three-pointer.
What the
with
fuck is happening?
With 7 seconds left, Hauser just jade a 29-foot three.
The Celtics have nobody playing.
To tie it up.
Wait, Milwaukee's got last possession.
There's 3 seconds left right now in the fourth. It's tied 116.
Milwaukee's possession.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, give it to the freak. Let him do his thing.
Dude,
Bucks
how is
full
the game this
timeout.
close with the Celtics having no players?
Because it's regular season basketball.
I
You
don't
guys
know.
have to
I
fucking
don't
remember.
I don't
The
know
only
either.
the teams that win in the regular season are the teams that like give a shit. The teams that know they're good and are like, yeah, whatever, it's just a formality. We don't really fucking care. Whatever. Yeah, you can have the 1 seed. I mean, how many times did Cleveland cough up the fucking 1 seed when LeBron went back to the Celtics? Just be like, yeah, we don't fucking care. We're going to beat you anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, we're not losing to you in a 7-game set, so we really don't give a fuck if we play in
Right,
your house
right.
or ours. We'll be the 2, the 3, 4. I don't give a flying fuck. If we got LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, it's not a big deal.
Right.
We're going to win. And then they did. And they went out and they were like, yeah, we won. So cool. Regular season basketball is that's why I don't even watch regular season basketball anymore. Like the trade deadline was last week. The All-Star break is this week. Next week, next month, March 1st is basically when basketball season starts.
You know, I'm not
For
gonna
reals.
lie. I'm really believing in the Celtics team.
Oh, overtime.
You're believing?
I'm believing in them.
Overtime.
Oh, going to OT? Oh.
I don't know. I mean, besides the
Did the
tonight,
freak get horrendously fouled at the rim and they
No,
didn't call it?
Chris Middleton went up for the shot, missed a 16-foot jumper.
I don't know.
What a
This
bitch.
this team just like it has like that feel to it. Like when you watch them, it just seems effortless when they play right now. And I'm like, it feels a little bit more.
It's fool's gold, my friend.
Okay, I'm disagreeing this year. Other years I've been like, it doesn't feel it. This year it feels like there's something there.
Because they want to break your heart a little extra hard.
Well, sure. If they break my heart, I'm like, I fucking fell for it. Whatever.
And then real quick, just to touch on the Cardinals hiring of Jonathan Cannon.
I can't tell you how much I hate that hire.
That's
That's
a
a horrible hire.
Why would you hire the guy who's couldn't get his team to get a sack in the Super Bowl after leading the league, being the 3rd most sacks in NFL history?
Right.
I just don't understand that. But again, this is why bad teams stay bad, and this is why the Arizona Cardinals stay bad. I'm sure, Kyler Murray, he got on his stepladder and voiced his opinion very thoroughly.
This is who I want, huh?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him squatting that weight the
Oh,
other
it
day.
was
in the weight room.
fantastic. That was probably my favorite thing that has ever been posted on our page. I'm not
Do
going
you
to
know? I'm so glad Miguel was unbanned after 30 days. I didn't even know he was banned.
We missed Miguel, our intern.
I know. I saw a couple of posts. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Our
How
faceless
the fuck
intern.
did it get banned?
I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows?
All of a sudden, it's like
Facebook in 2023.
He's like, "I'm back."
You can get banned for literally anything. I mean, I could sit here and be like, hey, There's literally a modern-day Chernobyl event going on in East Palestine,
Yeah.
Ohio right now. Which
First of all, I never thought.
I've known about for the last like 8 or 9 days or whatever because I actually follow the news
Well,
and
I've
pay
only
attention
known
to
about it
stuff.
for like the last 3 or 4 days. But first of all,
Right, because
I
the mainstream
today,
media hasn't covered it at
all. And then people's like animals are just dying in their backyard. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Just straight like a woman's like I
yeah,
had
vinyl
8,
chlorine.
she's like I have 8 chickens. She goes I came outside to see them. They're all dead.
Yeah,
Dogs dead. Cats
dogs,
dead.
cats
Yep.
dead,
And the
foxes
woman-
dead,
And the woman had
rabbits,
a great point.
fish.
The
Fish
woman
are turning
said,
up belly up in rivers.
Yeah, and the woman said, if this is happening to our pets in 3 days after minor exposure, imagine what's gonna happen to us in 5 years.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna have massive cancer. This is like their Chernobyl, like as everyone's saying.
This is a modern day Chernobyl, but Pete Buttigieg is too
Buttigieg.
busy saying how construction crews are racist because there's not enough minorities on them. He can't be bothered with this, but I digress.
That's some scary shit.
But Pete Buttigieg might be the most useless, idiotic politician
Fucking
I have ever
moron.
seen, and that says a lot when you're comparing him to Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. I mean, Kamala Harris is probably up there today talking about don't you
Pelosi.
love yellow school buses?
Did you think?
I
that-
raise your hand if you love yellow school buses.
Did you think when you first heard the news, like someone was fucking with you? Because I did not know there was an East Palestine, Ohio.
Yeah, I did actually. I knew about that.
So I'm like,
only-
here it
I
comes,
only-
some Middle East joke.
I only know that because I am in a group chat with a bunch of buddies that
Live in
like,
Ohio.
Live in Ohio. So,
Totally different.
but East
Me,
Palestine, basically like East Ohio is like it butts up against West Virginia, and that's like bumpkin country out there. Like hardcore yokels, and they basically make fun of them. But yeah, no, it's a blue collar town that primarily voted for Trump, and they blew up a whole 5 train cars worth of horrendously toxic gas, and they're like, meh, if they die, they die.
Oh well.
Oh well.
if they die, they
They
die.
die.
But yeah,
you
no,
guys-
if you're not up to date on the East
Horrible,
Palestine
horrible,
train
horrible.
accident, and the FBI has investigated like
What
over
happened?
1,000 train derailments in the last like 2 years or something like that.
Why? Because our infrastructure is shit.
No, the FBI has investigated them as potential terrorist attacks, like people planting things on the tracks to jump the trains, to derail the trains,
Right.
like on
Really?
purpose. Yeah, like just in East Washington alone, there's been like 100. There was like 100 last year. East Washington, Washington State. Where I get East Washington from, I don't know. East Palestine was what I was thinking of, but in Washington State alone, there was like 100 FBI investigations into trains jumping the track,
Yeah.
and people citing like domestic terrorism or terrorists like basically looking at it as a terrorist attack,
Right.
trying to disrupt our infrastructure. Why do you think these Chinese spy balloons are flying over our country? Do you think maybe possibly they're trying to study our infrastructure and look for weak points and places to attack that, if China did in fact invade Taiwan, that they could look at and they could say, okay, we're going to drop a bomb on this railroad track and this highway and this canal and put them out of business, and that'll be really tough then for them to move things the way
Right.
they need to in order to fight us in Taiwan. Just throwing it out there. I'm just asking questions. I'm not a fucking.
I truly appreciate the Budweiser blimp going to China and showing them who's boss.
I think they should take that Trump balloon that they had in the UK of him with the diaper and the baby and the rattle and everything,
Oh my god!
and they just fly that over China.
Yeah.
It's like yo, y'all mad?
Yeah.
Like, and it. I don't know. It would have to be launched from Kekistan, but whatever. It would be worth it.
Be dope.
All right, let's get into it's top of the hour. I promise you guys some betting talk, so let's get into some betting stuff. When it comes to betting on NASCAR, now obviously we're going to talk about NASCAR for betting because obviously sports betting now is legal in Massachusetts. Next month, I think they're going to be launching the apps are going to start being allowed in March.
March 10th.
March 10th, so we're going to start being able to just hop on an app, FanDuel, Sportsbook, whatever.
I'm telling you, we should reach out to a couple places because we get enough views and enough stuff like people can give us a promo code.
I'm good. Hey, why don't you grab two, you dummy?
Is this guy on vacation?
Yeah.
This
What?
guy on vacation?
Is he on vacation?
Yeah.
No, I'm on vacation.
He's not on vacation?
No, he's on his regular days off. He's just living his life.
He's like, he fell asleep with the mic. I was like, you fell asleep? He goes, yeah. I'm like, you're all right.
We did stay up kind of late playing Call of Duty last night, so.
He just fell asleep for like 5 seconds. I'm like, "You all right?" And he goes, "Yep." Like, I was like, "That's not good when you answer that fast."
So next month you're gonna start to be able to bet online legally with the apps, and I can't wait for that because I'm looking forward to betting on some NASCAR stuff. So if you're going to be betting on this weekend's race, which is the Daytona 500, which is the Super Bowl of NASCAR, which is the Super Bowl of auto racing, okay, this is the biggest event, the biggest racing event of the year. Even if you don't like NASCAR, you don't love NASCAR, I highly advise you, if you like motorsports and you like fun and action, this is one of the, I'll say, this is one of the 4 races a year that you want to watch, right?
Mhm. For
So
sure. I know shit about NASCAR.
They run it-
so
they-
I know Daytona is like
Dotana?
Dotana.
Dotana.
I am struggling today. I think I'm sleep deprived massively.
I thought I'm going to be sleep deprived in a couple hours because I got a flight to catch to Dotana.
I have a child who will not sleep and is killing us softly. Daytona,
I have a child, they said.
Daytona.
It'll be fun, they said.
love it. I wouldn't give it up.
I know
But
you
right
wouldn't.
now, my mind is like mush.
You sound like every parent ever. They're like,
Of course.
oh no, it's the greatest thing I'd ever do. But god damn it, I am miserable.
And you wake up in the middle of the night, you're just like, I don't know why we go out. Everyone's like, what are you saying? It's
Yeah.
like, don't you want cheeseburgers? It's 3 a.m. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just here.
I'm that show. I think you should leave where I'm the main character and I just cry at random times in life and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm scared. I just want to know if any of these ghosts just bust out of the wall. I'm not gonna finish the rest of that skit, but I love
So-
that show.
If you don't watch NASCAR, and I know a lot of people don't, especially in this corner of the country, because they're not. Let's face it, we're not a big motorsports area of the country, right? You get
Not really.
you get down into Pennsylvania, even like Connecticut. That's as far as you got to go. All of a sudden, you get to Connecticut, like
The Fallout Zone.
like Thompson Speedway. Thompson Speedway in Connecticut is a fucking phenomenal place to go see some short track, Saturday night short track racing. You get in New York, there's big time dirt racing and short track
right.
racing.
Excuse me.
And the further you go south, it's
Delaware.
it's
and
embedded.
shit, and yeah.
It's embedded. So I know we don't do a lot of it up here. So I'm gonna help you guys, and I'm gonna start betting on NASCAR, and I'm gonna start kind of following this and making sure that when you come on row one, seat one, you'll get some sound betting advice, because I know that NASCAR might not be something you love and want to follow, but it is definitely something that degenerates will bet on. And I know that because we have a resident degenerate who
100%.
calls me all the time and asks me, hey, what do you think of this race? What do you think of these guys? So
Oh yeah.
the rule of thumb when you are betting on NASCAR, so there are 2 tracks, Talladega and Daytona, that are very similar. They're both, Daytona is a 2.5-mile tri-oval. Talladega is 2.66 miles, slightly
Right.
bigger. A little bit wider, a little heavier banks, a little bit faster than Daytona, but both pretty much the same thing. But they're both super speedways. They're both restricted plate races, meaning there's a lot of pack racing. There's a lot of close quarters. You're running 2-3 wide a lot of the time, and they produce a lot of first-time winners because, as most of the major wrecks, the iconic wrecks that you see in
Right.
NASCAR come from these super speedways. The 15, 20 car pileups.
Yeah. The
You know,
flips, man. Well, back in the day.
Back in the day, but the rollovers, the blowovers, all that kind of stuff, they come from Daytona and Talladega. What do you guys watch, the Celtics game?
Yeah, it's unbelievable right now.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. It's
I know you don't give a shit.
I'm not really. I'm just glancing over, but I'm paying attention.
Grayson Allen.
It's regular season basketball. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
That being said, if you're gonna bet at any of on these 4 races, because there's February, which is the NASCAR season kickoff, which is the Daytona 500 for those
Yep.
that don't know, and then you have the
big boy.
the regular season finale. NASCAR is a playoff. The regular season finale, which is the final weekend, the final Saturday of August, usually August 28th, 29th, somewhere in there. Also at Daytona. 2 races at Talladega. One in, I think this year it's in early May, usually late April, early May, and then sometime early mid-October, which is the playoff race. So you have 4 races at these tracks. The key to betting at these tracks, because they produce the most first-time winners of any track on the circuit.
Yeah.
So you have more guys that will come to Daytona and Talladega and win their very first and maybe their only race, in some cases, at these tracks. Now, my rule of thumb for betting at these tracks is I don't take anybody unless they're plus 3,000 or better.
Why?
Because you really don't know. Like, Ryan Blaney right now is on the top of the leaderboard in terms of odds. He's plus 1,000. So Ryan Blaney right now is the leader in the clubhouse. Now, keep in mind, we haven't qualified. We haven't run any laps here. We have no idea how these cars are running. But Ryan Blaney drives for Penske, drives the number 12 car. Excellent driver, great on super speedways. He's been at the end in a lot of these finishes. He's been close a lot of times. Denny Hamlin's number 2, 3-time Daytona 500 winner. Okay, Kyle Busch, also excellent driver, now driving for Richard Childress this year, Richard Childress Racing. Chase Elliott, former champion. Kyle Larson, both drive for Hendrick. Joey Logano, another Penske driver. So you got those guys going off. Blaney and Hamlin at plus 1,000. Busch, Elliott, Larson, plus 1,200. Logano, and then Ross Chastain, the Hale water, the Hale Melon.
Ross Chastity, that's my dog.
That's my boy right there. The watermelon farmer from Florida. He's going
Melon
off at plus
farmer.
1,600.
He's a melon farmer.
Now you go down the list and you'll find some notable names. You know, Bubba Wallace, a lot of people know. Not a great driver, but he does show out on super speedways. He does show up. He does run very well.
One of your
His
favorites.
one and only is only he's only won twice in his career. Once was at Talladega, the other was at Kansas. He's a great super speedway driver. Like there's elements to this thing, right? So you have super speedways where basically you're flat out all day and you're trying to pick lines and find what the fastest line is and basically be in the right place at the right time when you can make your move. Bubba is extremely efficient at doing that. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's always been a great super speedway driver. He's brought up in Hueytown, Alabama, hometown of my favorite driver, Davey Allison. Also got his first win on a super speedway, dominant super speedway driver. Won Daytona, Talladega numerous times. Then you go down the list, right? And now you get into the meat of it, right? So like I said, I like to go in the plus 3,000 to 3,500 range because those are the drivers where those are the guys that are going to give you the most payout. But they also have, but at these races, they have just as good a chance as winning as Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney.
The guys up at the top.
Yeah, because Daytona doesn't give a shit about anything. Like I picked, for example, last year during the August race, I wanted to put down $100 on Austin Dillon because he was going off at plus 3,500. Which I don't even see him on this list right now. Where is he at? No, that's Austin Cindric. Austin Dillon, plus 3,000, right? Okay, perfect example. I love Austin Dillon right here. Austin Dillon knows how to. He's driving for Childress. He's got a good car. He's a good super speedway driver. He's got long odds, so you're going to get the most bang for your buck if he happens to come through the wreck going into turn 4 and be the first guy out of it. And that's all it really comes down to is whoever's leading on the last lap going into turn 3 is in the worst position in all of sports.
Right.
You're basically a sitting duck, and you're either going to have to throw the block of your life or you're going to get wrecked before you get back to the start-finish line. It happens all the time. Look at Ryan Newman a couple of years ago in 2020, the final major sporting event before COVID shut the country down, when we all thought Ryan Newman died in front of our eyes the way he got popped coming across the start-finish line.
Wow, that was 3 years ago.
Ended up finishing 6th.
Holy shit.
Ended up finishing 6th in that race, but it was a violent wreck. It was a terrible wreck. I thought he died right there because of the way he got hit.
Yep.
But that's what you have to expect when you come
That's
to
right.
these
He
super
got hit
speedways.
on the roof.
On the driver's side.
On the driver's he flipped, right? And he got hit upside down.
Yeah. When
by
he was
somebody
upside down and basically got pop shotted into the air like a pitching wedge.
Right on his roof, everything, right on his side. I do remember that. That was fucked.
And it's funny because there was a roll bar that they call, there's a new bar that they installed on the chassis right over the driver's head.
Yeah, the Newman bar.
Called the Newman bar that essentially he had lobbied for 3 years earlier, and they made it a rule, and now all the cars had to have it, and that bar ended up saving his life.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because if you ever go back and watch Ryan Newman's history at Daytona and Talladega, he ends up on his roof a lot for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He has a really terrible track record.
That
No pun
sucks.
intended at those tracks.
Wait, for payouts for NASCAR, Say I take a plus 3,000. Anybody plus 3,000 or more. When do I get paid out? Is it top 5, top 2, top
Winning.
1 only? Winning only?
Yeah, I
So it's like
assume this
fucking
is-
roulette.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Shit.
So now, depending on your app, like if it's anything like if your sports book will allow you, like you can place and show like in the Kentucky Derby, like you can bet like they're going to be 1, 3, 1, 2, or 3. That kind of thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know how any of that works, especially with all these new sports books and everything. Like, I haven't even begun to delve into this. All I know is I like these odds. And if you're looking at guys right now to bet on, if you want good, decent, long odds
Oh, they lost.
coming up for this weekend's race, I like Austin Dillon at plus 3,000. I like Ty Gibbs at plus 3,500, who Ty Gibbs is rookie this year. But again, Daytona has a knack for creating storylines and making things like making things happen that you've never seen before. So Ty Gibbs, who is Joe Gibbs' grandson, yes, that Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs,
Well, Joe Gibbs was into racing before he came back to football.
yes, and then he
No.
came back. No, he got into football. He left football to get into racing.
Gotcha.
And then he came, then he did come back, right? In 06, 7?
Yeah, he did. He came back for a couple of years.
Came back for a couple years. Michael McDowell is a guy I would look at. I would take a heavy look at. And then you start getting into some really long odds. And if you want to get some serious long odds, my favorite guy is Corey LaJoy, and he's going off at plus 10,000.
What the fuck?
So
Drop 100 on him.
Corey LaJoy is a guy that I've liked him his whole career. He's racing royalty. His family's been in it, but he's going off at plus 10,000. And again, he was close. He was close to winning. Back at, I believe it was in Atlanta. It was either the spring race or the second race in Atlanta. I can't remember which one, but he was like running first with, not long to go.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a restrictor plate track, which Atlanta is another fun one to watch. It's not the same shape or length as Daytona and Talladega,
Right.
but it's the same style of like pack racing where everybody's just all grouped together, and it's super fun. I like Corey LaJoy. If I'm going long odds on this one, give me Corey LaJoy. So if I'm going to put down, let's say I'm going to space out $300 on the Daytona 500. You want to take like a pretty solid bet. I'd go Kyle Busch plus 1,200, and then I would go what did I say? Austin Dillon plus 3,000. Oh no, Ty Gibbs plus
Yeah, yeah.
3,500.
You said
Yeah.
you picked Dylan
Yeah.
though too.
Yeah, I'd go Ty Gibbs plus 3,500, and then I would go Corey LaJoy plus 10,000. Those would be if I was going to throw a bean down on each of them and just say if one of y'all hit, and if Corey
So,
LaJoy hits,
are you gonna do this when you get to Florida tomorrow?
no, I can't. I got to text Shadis and Venmo him money because he's going to put the money in for me because sports betting is not legal in Florida. It's one of the few states where it's still not legal.
It's so weird.
So if you're going to bet on the race on Sunday, which makes it very interesting, and then all of a sudden you got something to root for, as most gambling degenerates do on Sundays, they need something to bet on, and they're like, well, there's no football, so let's do this. The Daytona 500 is a fucking phenomenal event. It's super fucking fun, and I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. If you haven't watched it, you're gonna love it. It's
gonna love it.
Daytona, Talladega, and now Atlanta has quickly become a favorite of mine too because restrictor plate racing I just fucking adore.
Yeah.
It's terrible to race in, believe me, when I get on my simulator and I run these restrictor plate races, and you lead 14 out of 15 laps or 50
Right.
out of 49 out of 50 laps, and you're like, all right, I'm dominating the shit out of this race, and then you get into the fourth corner of the final lap, and somebody just says, I'm gonna move you because I don't have any other way to get around you.
Dude, I cannot get over you telling me about your brother months ago. Like, he just doesn't care anymore. He turns the car around and just goes the other way and tries to kill people. And
Oh
ruin
yeah,
the race.
he's just I call him when I do iRacing now, I call him Squeefs because my little brother is young. Well, he's not little anymore. He's a grown ass man, but he's a mental midget
He's
to say the
46.
least. He fits very much in with
Yeah.
the rest of us.
Yeah.
He's like still 12 at heart, And he gets on my thing and he gets wrecked. He wrecks in iRacing, and he's like, he's trying my simulator out and he's racing it, and he's like, this is fucking awesome. And then he gets wrecked and he just says, oh yeah? And he just turns around and starts going backwards on the track and just crashes head on into the pack and creates this like giant fucking wreck. And I'm like, you can't do that here. Like, that's not what this is about. And so anytime I run into anybody on the track that, is acting like an asshole and wrecking people and not, racing in the spirit of the game, I call him a squeef. And it's a derogatory term.
Is it?
It is now. I've made it a derogatory term.
I'm gonna look it up. That sounds like it could be something like some like maritime like
a squeef.
Yeah.
No, I think
I'm pretty sure.
Made up.
Pretty sure we made that one up ourselves.
No, you probably did, but it sounds like
some NSFW terms that we can't say.
Well,
Sure.
it started off because when Keith, who's my little brother, he got certified as a scuba diver when he was like, what, 10, 11 years old?
Yeah, 14, 13, 14.
He was pretty young. I think he was like 12 because I
yeah.
used to call him the fucking 12-year-old and all that.
Right.
I'm 13. I'm like, shut the fuck up, 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And he was getting certified as a diver. He was going to like Bob Sea and skiing, getting his certification. He was actually really good at scuba diving and everything. And then one of our friends was just calling him Little Queefy Scuba Fag.
Yeah.
And that was too much of a mouthful to say, so it just ended up getting shortened down to Squeef.
Yep. Pretty much.
Which is
I
like,
was just googling to see if anything
like
would come
it
up.
sounds like squeaky queef, but it's just
Everything,
no, it's not.
everything is.
It's all actually
dropping
derived.
the S.
It has all.
yeah, exactly.
It's all derived from him just being a certified scuba instructor, and his name being. We wanted to call him Queef because his name was Keith, and it sounded the same, but it was just Squeef.
I like how
Yeah, squeef for scuba.
you know how you
Squeef was
Google
scuba.
something and it shows you like the top image for it, even if you're not asking for images. Yeah. This is the image for that.
You need to send that to the group chat
What
right
the
now.
fuck is that? I get it, but like,
I
why?
do too, but
Why?
I need that.
That is a squeef.
Okay.
It's a Squeef.
All right.
It is what it is.
I like to blow them up and then let the air out.
And let the air out, and then I slap them shits right off of my table. All right. Anything else, guys? What did we miss? Do we miss something? I know we missed something, but what did
We didn't touch about this last week really quickly, but Belichick going on Tom Brady's podcast and basically being like, hey, it was fantastic. And then Brady kind of like breaking down a little bit. To me, that was just like, you heard a little bit in Brady's voice, to my opinion, as a Patriots fan, that he kind of was like, fuck, like, he had a bunch of nice shit to say about me. I wish he said something mean. Because you heard like the crack in his voice. He's like, it was always my pleasure too. And it was like, damn, I wanted Belichick to be Belichick and tell me that guy was like trash and not as good as I thought I was.
Ass
You know,
in my
Tom
office.
was he was a good quarterback. I wouldn't say great.
Right. You expected Belichick to be Belichick, and he was just like, the
Belichick
best.
has nothing, but he will do nothing because it doesn't behoove Belichick to bash Brady especially at this point in his career, where Brady's gone on and won one without Belichick, and Belichick is basically floundering around, and now everybody's sitting there going, ho ho ho, what's his record without Brady?
Right. Which
And
I
it's
hate.
like,
Shut
it's
the
like,
fuck up.
like, right, you realize Belichick created Brady, right? Like, you can say what's his record without Brady, but that's like saying like what's Picasso's record without the brush.
Did Picasso not use a brush?
Picasso, like the brush needed Picasso more than Picasso needed the brush. Okay, he could have used the crayon.
You got some Picasso in you.
What was that?
Belichick is Picasso. Brady
was
was
that
the
from
brush.
The Rock?
Yeah.
Remember that? Did Picasso not use
No scissors, only clippers. Did they tell Picasso no brush?
Yeah.
Listen, this man could remove your balls with a pair of clippers. Okay, we don't need him working with scissors.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. It's like, I don't know what you did to that man in there. I just want to know, are you happy with your haircut?
Yeah.
Yeah, great scene. That was the dude. You just fucked up your Ferrari. It wasn't
mine. Yeah.
Neither's this. What? Anyway, all right. Last thing before we get out of here. Obviously, Terry Bradshaw got a little bit of a hot water.
Oh yeah.
We glossed over this.
Oh, dumb.
Terry Bradshaw got a little bit of a pickle because on the stage when they were presenting the Lombardi Trophy, he told Andy Reid to waddle over here so he could give him an interview, which Andy Reid laughed about because obviously Bradshaw and Reid are very good friends. And Andy Reid, for those that don't know this, and I don't know how you don't know this, if you know these people all. And this is what kills me about people is like they say that they're fans of the NFL. They say that they're like, oh, I know the NFL. I know football. I know this. And yet they get mad when Terry Bradshaw tells Andy Reid to waddle over here because they don't know Andy Reid is A, the most self-deprecating head coach in the world, especially when it comes to his weight, and B, he's excellent friends with Terry Bradshaw.
Did they not hear the words that came out of his mouth like immediately after that comment of like, I could use a sub. He said something about food, and then he asked him about a couple of plays they called. And he's like, oh, that one was like all the plays had food names.
Yeah.
The players who are athletes must have been like, this is fucking disgusting.
Yeah. Call that Y22 ketchup cheeseburger.
He's like, this is extra ketchup on a slong. It's like, what the fuck? It's not what you call a play.
I'm going to go Spider Y2 pork missile.
Mayo jelly side.
Extra sauerkraut. Brioche bun.
Ugh.
Fried.
Something, yeah.
And I was like, and Patrick Mahomes just looks at him and goes,
You got it, coach.
just gives him like the stern stare, like, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
God.
And he just goes and he just like throws like a touchdown, like 75-yard bomb. You're like, oh yeah, perfect. All right, cool. It's like, yeah, we could have just called that like, XY2 jet, whatever, fuck you pass. But
Right.
no, Andy Reid's like, no, I want extra sauerkraut on this pass, which means I want you to throw it lower and harder on a bullet. And like, okay, like, sure, Andy. Like, and he's like, and then I want some extra Arby's horsey sauce. And I want you to go to fucking In-N-Out and get me 2 burgers animal style. And you're like, all right, I've lost now. I don't know if you're calling a play or you're just, you're fantasizing about what your post game meal is going to be. So can you hone it in, Andy? Hone it in. But yeah, Terry Bradshaw is getting ripped for being, fat phobic, which I love how everybody's going to say, like,
I'm not even the biggest, like, fucking Terry Bradshaw fan, but I was
no,
just,
Terry
like,
Bradshaw's a fucking loser. He's a total fucking
he's
stooge.
kind of a douche. I'm like,
He's a total
chill the
fucking
fuck out.
stooge.
Yeah.
Ever since he fucking called out A-Rod and was like, you're taking horse to warmer, bud. And it's like, no, Terry, no, he isn't. And I'd love for you to revisit those comments and revisit that. And let's go back and look now, given all the information that's come out in the last 6 to 12 months. And I want you to apologize to Aaron Reid. Actually, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Who the fuck
Aaron
is Aaron
Reid.
Reid? I want you to apologize to I'm on vacation.
Dude,
sorry.
I'm telling you, it's...
I want you to apologize to Aaron Rodgers for what you said about him because you defamed him. You slandered that man.
Yeah.
With your idiotic medical takes because you as a member of the media decided to sit there and just basically be like, I'm auditioning for my part on The View when I get fired from Fox Sports at some point. So I want to make sure that I get this in. And listen, we all know you were wrong. Everybody knows you were wrong. Everybody knows Aaron Rodgers was right, even though they won't admit it. Now apologize to the man.
Apologize.
I was going to say, dude, apologize.
That's right. Apologize. So fuck Terry Bradshaw. But if you're gonna dick over Terry Bradshaw, him telling Andy Reid to waddle over here and then calling it fat phobic, which why is everything like why do all these people like these why do they have to put
Everything's
phobic on the
phobic.
everything? Like no, I'm not afraid of fat people. I just think they're disgusting.
Oh, my God.
Like what's that? I'm literally not. I'm not. There's no fat person I'm afraid of. Like I don't think they're gonna eat my leg. I don't think like if I touch them I'm gonna die. Or like maybe if like they have like shingles because whatever they developed it because their fat rolls or haven't been washed in 6 years.
That's
maybe
the thing.
that could be gross. But other than that, like no, like I'm not afraid of any fat person. I can outrun them all. Even as a fellow fat person, I can outrun most fat people.
Right, for the most part.
At 330 pounds, I'm fairly athletic, for my size.
Yep.
Been this way most of my life. I'm not afraid of any fat person.
Right.
I'm trying to think of one fat person that I'm afraid of, and I can't. Maybe the ghost of Biggie Smalls because he might put a cap in my ass. Other than that, though,
Biggie
no.
Smalls, Biggie Smalls.
Biggie Smalls. God damn it! I'm going back. Did you did you see the new South Park on Wednesday?
Mm-mm.
Did
Dude,
you?
I must sleep by the time South Park comes
Dude,
on.
you gotta watch it. The Cartman. You remember how Cartman had Cupid Me?
Yeah, we talked about it on Saturday.
Yeah. Did you see Cupid Ye?
No, I didn't. You told me about it though. I
Oh
didn't see
my
it yet.
god, dude! Cupid Ye.
And you said anti-Semitic shit, right?
Dude, it was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. Like, I swear to God, like being like South Park's got to be a tough job because they do it in 6 days, but also the jokes just kind of write themselves. So like, you're like, oh, we've got this character called Cupid Me. What if we just dress him up like Kanye and call him
Cupid
Cupid Ye?
Yeah.
And then he just on Valentine's Day shoots arrows at people and makes them anti-Semitic. Like, I mean, it just makes so much goddamn sense. It's a brilliant show, but. Anyway, let's end it there, boys. I gotta get racing because I only got a couple hours here before I leave.
Yeah.
Or are we gonna sit him down? Are we gonna sit him
Yeah.
down for a little
Yeah.
bit? Yeah.
Nah.
I might-
Shut him down.
I might try to grab some sleep, but I don't think I'm really ready for bed yet. Cause I'm leaving. I gotta leave here by 3 to get to the airport in time to be in Daytona.
We're gonna cabeza.
In la cabeza. So, all right, let's leave it there. We only had one vote on the poll. I couldn't find the poll. I mean, I see it
It
on the
ended.
screen.
I think you like fucked something up because it ended.
You ended it fast.
It said like, "Oh, this poll's ended," and I'm like, "We just started the show." Like,
Really? It says
yeah.
results active.
Nah, mine says it ended.
All right, well,
the poll ended. We'll try it again next
We'll
week.
try it again. We'll put it up.
Or 2
We'll put
weeks
it up.
from
Well, you know what? I'll put it up after the show on the page,
Yeah.
Got
and
your
we'll let
ass.
people vote on it for a week.
Do it. Vote. Do it.
Yeah, do it. Vote.
Vote or die.
Vote or die, bitch.
Yep.
Shake them titties when
Just
you
die.
vote, bitch.
Yeah.
Damn.
What? You don't
It's
get
from
the South
South
Park
Park,
references
damn.
at all, do you?
Yeah. Shake the titties.
No, because I don't fucking get to watch it a lot of the times.
That's an old school episode.
Yeah,
man.
that
That's
one's old. The Diddy one.
All right,
Diddy.
for Mr. Betancourt and Plizzy, I
yeah.
am your host, Joey Fats. I will see you all. We'll be back next Tuesday night.
Peace.
I will be back in time to do this show. I'll be back
Peace.
probably noontime on Tuesday
Peace.
from my little expedition down to Daytona to watch the 500.
Yay.
My goal is to meet Haley Deegan and get a
Yeah.
picture with her.
Yeah. Give me a share sign.
Google
And
it.
well,
I'll
not
Google.
and if I can meet her dad too, because Brian
Yeah.
Deegan. Haley
Give me
Deegan.
something.
Yeah, don't worry, brother. If I'm running to Brian Deegan,
He get you confetti.
I'm gonna get him. Be like,
yeah,
I'm gonna be
that's
like,
good.
yo,
That's a
Brian,
good one.
let me buy that hat off your head, sign it for me, and I'm gonna give it to my brother.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, it'd be sick. But he'll probably be like, nah, dude, I'm not doing that.
This
I'll
is
be
my
like, "Come on."
personal hat, my man.
Yeah.
I'll be like, nah, but like, come on, man, like, don't make me go all Darth Maul on your ass. Like, I will throw a glass vase against the wall and pretend it was you later. You'll feel that shit.
That'll be sick.
That's a reference probably nobody except 3 people are going to get, but it
Yep.
doesn't matter. So anyway, for Mr. Betancourt and Plizzy, I am Joey Fats.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us on
Peace.
Row 1 C1. Please give us a like and a share.
Peace.
This show will be up on Spotify, Apple,
Peace.
iTunes, Amazon, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts right after the show. And we'll be back next
Yeah.
Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m.
Peace.
Later.
Deuces.
Peace.